welcome to the Dudes of Prudes podcast.
Welcome to Dude Soup.
Welcome to Dude Prudes of Soup podcast.
You know what I've been you mentioned rocks, Patrick, and how pretty they are. I've been fucking obsessed with watching YouTube videos of Alex Honnold, the guy who climbed El Capitan without a rope.
I watch those videos all the time. The people reviewing movie, like an expert reviews movie doctors or whatever. It's awesome.
I watched that one, and he was like reviewing like all these rock climbing scenes in movies, and he was just like so into it, like even the ones that were stupid.
So funny.
I know, he's like, this one's rad though, even though it's like so stupid.
He was like, yeah,
dude, quartz is one of my favorite rocks to climb on. The texture's just right, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And why do I care so much?
Why do I care so much? That's the important question. Yes.
I was like, this makes me want to rock climb, even though like I know I probably will never rock climb.
In that one, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if there's more than one, but one of them, he just like, I literally just left the climbing gym. I have dust on my hands, but my hands are not that cut up, because he's talking about somebody who has like fucked up hands.
Did his hands look weird to you?
Like a little bit.
They
look like
like
smushed.
Super
exactly.
calloused
like
and like chalked up and stuff all the time. So I'm sure that like takes a toll over the years. I know from when I was like rowing crew in high school, like your hands develop like calluses and stuff along like where you hold the oar. Like I still actually have like some of them a little bit, like right here where like you would like grip something. And so it calluses over after you have like a couple blisters and like go through that like pain. But yeah, it's better than wearing gloves.
It's such a cool bodily process where you like you're like Colossus.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna make myself stronger because apparently you're just gonna continue hurting yourself, you idiot.
But I don't think that works for like all parts of the body though. Like you can't keep like, I don't know, hitting your hand against the wall and eventually your hand's like, all right, I'm gonna develop some hand armor since you're a goddamn idiot and this keeps happening to you.
It works for your joints, because I remember seeing pictures of like these farmers who have to like go prone to pick certain plants and their elbows are just like rock solid. Oh, so maybe it just works for joints or like areas where there's contact with the ground.
That makes more sense actually, yeah, because like the areas, or at least the areas in my hands that have the calluses on them are like the ones that flex right where the palm of your hand extends out to the finger. So I guess it is like just at like movement points, which I wonder why that is. If we have any more scientists in the that are listening, if you could send us a detailed scientific report about why that is.
A scientific report, no more than 4 to 6 sentences.
Send a letter to P.O. Box 6969-420.
420 Wallaby Way, please.
Wallaby Way. Oh yeah, Dory.
Pat, anything on the complaint box you wanted to bring out today?
Oh, I don't like that dude called me Charlton.
That was funny, dude.
I don't like it.
That was funny.
Wait, who called you?
You're not my friend. I don't know you.
Who called you Charlton?
The thing I sent, the dude that suggested a song or an album.
Oh yeah.
He was like, I think Charlton would like
Charlton like this. Like we're in the same football team or something. Get the fuck out of here.
Never heard that.
What are you talking about?
Like slap
I call him Pena, but that's because I knew so many Alexes that I had to put Pena in my phone just to, differentiate.
Right, and Patrick is such a rare name that we can just say Patrick.
Yeah, because nobody's named Patrick.
I know.
Same with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though everybody confuses your name with anybody, with Armin, with Pena.
God.
See, Patrick, yeah, you are like the only Patrick I like actively talk to, so I can call you Patrick. But I remember when I saw my name in your phone, like it just said Pena, and I was like, "Do you know my first name?"
No, I just gave up. I was like, "Well, sure, this looks fine. I'll just name him Rock."
It's been like 4 or 5 years, and you're like, "I don't remember this dude's first name." So this is the Pena part's all I got. So hopefully this never comes up.
Did the Rock Formations thing get deleted with the last attempt to record this, or was it at the beginning of this?
It was before we started.
The reason we were talking about rock formations is we looked up the origin of Pena's name, and it means a crag, a cliff, or a rock.
That's pretty cool, I guess. Which, like, I don't know. It doesn't really mean anything, though. What does, like, Charlton mean?
Noble team from Halo Reach.
Charlton?
It was strange, I know. They were thinking ahead. Can I have another cup?
No.
Dude, you're crushing these fucking... I'm
cupcakes
really and cookies.
Yaman, what is your... ones I don't like as much, though.
What does your last name mean?
My last... I don't know. I know my first name on Urban Dictionary is to sexually destroy a female.
Dude, when I was younger, I looked up my name on Urban Dictionary with my brothers, and it was just like, Patrick is like a big dick god. And I was just like, whoa, my name means this? Without even considering that the person probably was named Patrick who wrote that. I was such an idiot.
Yeah, mine was not so much Yaman, but like Yaman.
Yaman.
The act of.
You gotta take it where you can get it. Because I doubt there was another Yaman who was...
Oh, yeah. It was just the first thing that came up. And there's always, on Urban Dictionary, there's always an example using the word or the name, and it was like, yo, dog, I was yamming on them hoes, or some shit like that.
I'm pretty sure the example of mine was just like, God, Patrick's fucking awesome. It was just like, I am so cool. Except then my brother and my other brother looked up their names as well, and it was equally incredible, and I was just like, oh. I think my first name means noble or something. That's why I said noble team.
Probably some ancient like Irish thing. I actually looked up your last name on Urban Dictionary, and it's kind of a good description of you. Charlatans are one of the coolest people you'll ever meet, as long as you stay on their good side. If you don't, they could be the biggest asshole you'll ever meet. He'll stay by your side no matter what the situation is, and he is a very good listener. I don't know about the last part, but the rest of it holds up.
I'm a great listener. I do that for so many people.
That's true. Sometimes,
Fuck you.
Oh, okay.
That's like the one easy thing to do in terms of therapy.
That's true. But the rest of it I feel is like spot on.
But I don't know about... I mean, even if you're on my good side, I'm still going to be an asshole to you.
Yeah, but like in a loving way, not like a genuine way.
I noticed that you really hate it when I do like this shit, when I look at Yaman and go like...
I know, I just saw it.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say anything. Cause
You got legitimately mad last time, and it tickled me so much.
I told you.
Oh, God.
I'm glad my anger first humors you. You guys hear about this this goddarn Google console that's coming out? The search engine is making a video game thing that they're going to announce next week.
Is it just like Flash games?
Yeah, it's just going to be
there's the different Google logos for like Thomas Edison's birthday and stuff. Look at this.
It's basically just going to be everything on addictinggames.com put into a single console. So you have
fucking
like
Congregate,
Torture Buddy, Commando.
God, that shit was so weird.
Yeah, your RuneScape Classic.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys ever play? You guys use miniclip.com?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes,
that site was dope, man. I fucking love that.
You remember OMG Pop?
OMG Pop? I don't think I remember playing that.
What?
It rings a bell.
It's not a thing anymore, but it had Draw My Thing, it had Pool, it had Balloono, which is pretty much Bomberman.
Oh. What's that game that you drew? You can draw lines, and like you have a little sled dude that will just go down it.
Oh, Line Rider.
Yeah, Line Rider.
Dude, different versions of it too.
That game was the shit.
That shit was awesome. I always sucked at it though.
There is this like golden age of online like Flash games from like 2005 to like 2010, where
I really don't think they were great games. I think we were just young and in school.
It's like when you're in
anything
school
to do.
No, but like they were like
with
at
a
least the
Rubik's Cube, and
concepts
you're like,
were.
this is the best, but you go outside, you never play with.
No. At least the concepts were really cool because like I would play them at home sometimes even because like shit on Newgrounds, like Addicting Games, Miniclip, like there would be some stuff that was like actually really fun to play, like a couple good platformers, and like Line Rider I like wasted a lot of time on. There was one.
Penny, do you like this?
Do I like what?
Is that the right side, or is it the other side?
We are a nation of hypocrites and child killers. What does that bottom logo read?
That's like that. That's like their logo.
Abolish human abortion. Oh.
And then there's this tasty image.
Ew. What the hell?
Yeah,
Where'd you get that?
Do you not have?
Someone gave it to me at a
Do you not have
crosswalk.
people
Ew, that's
standing
annoying.
at the center of your campus with like big signs of like fetuses, and they're like, "This baby was murdered."
I probably should have pointed out this is a little like in size of a credit card. It's some
It's just like a business card thing. There is so not like sort of on campus. There's a Planned Parenthood just a block down from me, and it's basically right off of where BU's campus ends. And I always walk past it to go to the grocery store, and there's always like old people holding like signs saying like "Pray to end abortion," and I'm just like, leave people alone, man. Like this is so goddamn annoying.
It's right in the middle of our campus.
Also,
like,
they
right
take
in
up the
middle.
whole fucking sidewalk. It's so goddamn obnoxious. They're just completely blocking traffic, just saying like prayers and like chanting stuff. I'm like, I just really need to like get some bread right now, literally bread from the store. But like in the center of campus, we don't have anything like that. We usually have like I've seen like people hold signs saying they want to end like Chinese organ harvesting, which is apparently an issue. Yeah.
Never seen
what?
That, no.
Wait, so like Chinese people have better organs and they're harvesting them?
No, like in China, like there's like a sketchy
kidnap
black
people,
market. Yeah, they
kill
kidnap
them,
you.
take their organs, and sell them on the black market.
Yeah, so like
you know where the Sundarbans are?
No.
What is that?
With the Sundarbans, I can't remember if it's in China or not. I know a buddy of mine, not a buddy, some dude I met when I was in New York once. He was talking about how his friends were going through, where is it? Sunderbans?
Bangladesh?
Calcutta? Bangladesh. Then I was completely wrong, and I'm a giant racist. Anyway, they were in the Sunderbans. It's just a big, giant amount of forest, and there's a bunch of tigers in there. And there's like creepy stories. This is what gets under my skin more than anything is like the woods and people out in the woods. And the stories were like you'd be driving along and you'd go down a curve and your headlights would wave over what you think is a body on the road. And any sympathetic human
would stop. Yes.
If you stop, 600 people are going to burst out of nowhere, rip you out of your car, rob you, murder you, whatever, pull your car into the woods. And he said his friends, this is like a story he's telling from somebody else, so I guess it's secondhand, so it could be a bunch of bullshit. But he was driving, and then his buddy like tapped on his shoulder after he was like getting ready to stop to help this person, and then he was just like drive, and because he wasn't paying attention, he looked up and he told him to drive, and then he sped around the body, and the body got up, and then 15 people just emerged from the woods. Oh, shit. I don't know why I thought of that after you mentioned China, but
wait, have you seen Children of Men?
No. Oh, I have. I have seen that. Yeah.
You know the scene I'm talking about where they're like driving through like this like foresty road, and this like burning car just like stops them like right in their tracks as it like rolls down a hill, and they're like, oh shit.
So
and then,
intense.
Like, start driving in reverse, and then like just like hundreds of people just like start coming out of the woods and like start shooting.
It was so well
car.
shot too. It was so awesome. Children of Men is a movie about decades in the future, a virus or some level of something has caused every human on Earth to be impotent, and no more children are being born. And it's like considered a level of fame to be a very young person. And then this man, I don't want to spoil the whole thing, but he sort of discovers something, and then the adventure continues. It's very interesting and also really depressing, sort of like The Road.
Yeah. Well, the Children of Men ends. It's kind of like an overall like hopeful thing. Yeah. Like it shows that like the world is like awful, but like people still have the capacity to like do the right thing. I haven't seen or read The Road, even though I've been meaning to for like fucking ever. But I imagine that movie is a lot more depressing. I don't really know.
I like stories where someone has to get from A to B. And if you ever take a piece of snow and just sort of drag it along asphalt or like that, and slowly piece by piece, there's just a crumb left, and that's how much like energy they have and like willpower, and then finally they're on their last crumb, and then someone else comes and saves them. It's like if they had any less willpower or energy at the beginning, then they wouldn't have made it. But because they did, that last crumb got them there, and that is totally what happened in that movie.
They come out awesome. Like a totally different person than when they started.
Yeah. I think there's got to be like a storytelling like term for that. I know there's the hero's journey, but that's more like archetypal. That's like some King Arthur, Luke Skywalker type stuff. But I don't know what, you take like a cynical, like reluctant hero and then turn them into this...
Like Logan.
Yeah, Logan, exactly like the movie I was thinking about. Like Logan and Children of Men are very similar in that respect, where you have a cynical, kind of like reluctant person who is in it for like maybe money at the beginning, in the case of Logan. And then by the end of that movie, they're like fully on board with their cause, so much so that they like give their life for it. So it's the best kind of movie.
The two like grizzled old men who are both at one point very hopeful and involved with the hopeful people, and then became jaded after something happened to them. And so now they're sort of just like drinking themselves into oblivion and just wandering off into the ether, just not caring about themselves.
Max Payne.
Yeah.
Max Payne. That's kind of an obscure reference.
Yeah. And then one ray of hope shows up. And in both stories, it's a little girl. It's awesome. It's so good. Both movies are really good.
Max Payne is... Not Max Payne the movie with Mark
no,
Wahlberg.
the movies. I mean, the games. Yeah. I'm thinking about which one? 2? I think
they're all pretty good.
3. I'm thinking about 3.
Yeah,
because I've just been watching it recently, and that's exactly what it sounds like. Ray stream.
Oh shit! So you started to do that now? You watching it?
A little bit, not a lot.
I watched his like Tetris 99 thing, and
that's addicting to watch.
I like got bored after like the first match, and I was like, okay, this is all I need to see. But point aside, do you guys think this is gonna happen sooner rather than later as well? They're gonna have to get a new Wolverine, but I don't know of anyone that could even like come close to fulfilling that role.
They better be short. I would like to see a short Wolverine.
I think they'll go that way because they need to like make it seem different enough.
Something about Wolverine that I just recently, it's like the old trope that I think I've talked about, where you have characters who were started in the '60s, and you have to maintain what they sort of look like, but you're trying to make them look more modern. But at the end of the day, they're still wearing a goofy costume.
Yeah.
And like with Wolverine, he's got a really goofy costume. It's bright yellow in some cases, or orange or black. Why are there 1,000 ants all over my thing? Probably because they have food in here all the time. But someone was this panel that I saw. I don't remember where it was, but he chooses to wear that because he wants the bright, flashy colors to get the attention of whatever bad guy has hostages or is going to kill somebody. You know, he wants, hey, shoot at me. And I love that. That's a great way of like a story turn, because at first it's like, that's the dumbest outfit I've ever seen. Why would he, the most cynical, angry person in the world, wear that? And it's because he knows that he could survive what no one else can, and he's willing to go through it. It's just like, that's so cool.
See, like
that's opposite of how like animals do it. Usually like snakes or like just anything that's like bright and like it's to like ward off predators, to show like I'm a threat. But like with him, it's kind of more like come at me, sort of.
Or it's like a trick. I think in Wolverine's case, it's closer to a trick because there's a bunch of frogs that are like extremely poisonous, and they're very bright, because if a predator like tries to like eat them or like whatever, fuck with them, basically they can like die in an instant because they have like nerve toxins coming out of their skin, and like it's pretty crazy. But I think
that's what he said to Professor X. Give me a suit that reminds people that I'm a frog.
There's something similar as in that I don't know if it was in a Batman comic or one of the movies where he says that the reason he has a giant bat logo on his chest isn't,
it's a false target.
Yeah, it's a false target. Like that part of his thing is like tougher than like the rest of his body, basically.
That was in Arkham Knight.
Oh yeah, okay, so it was in a video game. That's what I figured. But it's smart. It makes sense. Like there are interesting design choices to make in costumes, both from like a fictional perspective and like in an in-world perspective of like why you would dress the way you do. There aren't many characters that have that. A lot of characters are kind of just designed to like look cool for the most part. Like Deadpool, just designed to kind of look cool. I don't think his colors really have anything. His colors or his like whole suit don't really.
They're so iconic, though.
They are. After a certain point, they absolutely are.
Both look, Spider-Man and Deadpool look quite a bit alike, but Deadpool looks so much like Deadpool. Like,
exactly.
If that makes any sense.
No, absolutely.
His eyes, especially, they're really expressive.
And it's funny.
I think they could do that with. They could just say, "Oh yeah, the bat symbol. It's actually stronger. That's why we created it like that years ago." Because it's stronger than the rest of his suit. You don't think they're just like making it up like as
they absolutely
are. The
are.
whole thing is made up.
No, I know. But like that's not something they started out with doing.
Obviously not.
Like somebody was like, Wolverine's suit is stupid, and they were like, "Oh, well, it's because they want him to distract the enemies."
You have to work with what you've got.
I know. I understand.
And I'm totally willing to take it.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
I don't think it's stupid to go back and like it's like the characters that you've got. So.
I don't think it's stupid at all.
Otherwise, you have to change their look entirely. Most of the time,
I understand. I'm just
Logan
saying,
doesn't even wear that.
I just think about how much is a thing now because they were just like, oh, we have to like think fast, like we have to like.
I don't know if that's true, because people called it stupid for a long, long time, and then this one panel and this one not very well-known comics sort of like. I mean, there's tons of authors and tons of writers who make completely different decisions. Like at one point we have an old man, Logan, in the comics, who is now on a separate team of the X-Men, and at the same time we have the Logan who was trapped in the adamantium, who has now escaped and no one knows where he is. It's like, what? Trying to make sense of this stuff is stupid. Just find the one piece that you like and then enjoy it.
I think that's the problem with a lot of. You're kind of seeing that more with superhero origin movies, where their origin will usually be like kind of dumb and dated, and then you have to like adapt it to make it make sense in some ways, and that can sometimes work out really well, sometimes not work out really well, because you might piss off people who are like super into the original comics, and those people are kind of usually diehard and kind of dumb, honestly. But then also then sometimes the translation just doesn't work, like you kind of end up with like a mishmash of like things that went totally wrong. I think, this is just my personal opinion, the original X-Men movie went a little too far off from what made the original X-Men cool and gave them the distinct look. They just put everyone in like black leather jumpsuits, and it was really boring.
It was like 2003 though,
which I get was the aesthetic of the time,
because it was like the time we had superheroes, Blade.
Also
Resident
black leather,
Evil, like all these
black
like,
leather.
Yeah, vampire movies.
Exactly. Everyone looks like fucking vampires. But the reason the
Like
X-Men are like so like distinctive is that they have like these colorful and awesome looking costumes, but everyone just like kind of looks the same except for Mystique, which the makeup on her was like amazing, and then maybe like
it was pretty
Beast, who has like cool like effects.
Beast is always cool. He's one of my favorite. Hank McCoy. He has his catchphrase is "Oh my stars and garters." What the fuck?
He's like a founding like father. Or
He's
something
awesome
from like the Revolutionary War.
He's this big chubby bear.
You know, that's funny. But yeah, that's just my like 2 cents on that. But like, I feel like you can take certain characters out of their look, and I don't think it would matter too much. I think Deadpool is kind of a good example of that, because he's done, or you've seen things like Gwenpool, where he's just like pink and white, or like other versions of Deadpool.
That's not Deadpool.
I know, but like, it's kind of like a transformation of the character.
I did not like Gwenpool at all. It was so bad.
You didn't?
Everybody really hates it, but like, it's just not good.
I think you just hate women is the issue.
Well, that's completely separate to this character.
But yeah, you know what I mean. Like, I think it's funny because Deadpool was supposed to be a riff on Deathstroke, and
he originally wasn't a joke.
Yeah, but the Deadpool is like way more iconic now, I think, than Deathstroke. Maybe that's largely in part because in recent years, like the movie and stuff, but Deathstroke is completely like off most of people's radars, I would say.
When he first started out, I don't remember which character he was fighting, but he was like a very serious like assassin. Maybe he would make one quip, but he was like bolt serious, and it was super weird. And then I think the property shifted, and then one guy got a hold of him and was just like, I'm going to make this guy a big joke.
Yeah.
And everybody loved it.
Because I think when people see Deathstroke now, when he showed up at the end of like so Wonder Woman or Batman vs.
Let
Superman?
the games begin.
Yeah, some like dumb shit like that. I think people are like, oh,
this League of Our Own.
This is Deadpool, but way too fucking serious. Like, it's just a guy in this like big orange and black suit, and he's got like a threatening looking spiky haircut.
That's what we needed. More broody, angry men in masks.
Exactly.
That's what the DCECDU, whatever it's fucking called now.
DC.
Remember the Dark Universe Cinematic Universe?
Remember how that lasted one movie and then they gave up?
And they had this very like serious photo shoot where it's like everybody sitting in like a chair with hands on shoulders.
Yes.
Like, what the fuck?
It was bizarre.
Johnny Depp was there as the Invisible Man.
Yeah, for a couple of movies that are like never gonna happen. Although I think they're still making Bride of Frankenstein with Angelina Jolie, which is like weird.
I mean, anything could be good.
Go for it, but whatever. Yaman, have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy? Did you ever watch one of those?
I think you've asked him this like 3 times.
Have I?
I have not watched it, no. And
See,
I
feel like,
can see myself doing it.
I feel like those movies are like right up your alley, like specifically. But
I just don't think any of the characters are that.
You don't like Rocket?
Which one's Rocket?
The raccoon.
Not really.
You don't like Star-Lord? Star-Lord?
Star-Lord's cool. And
Gamora?
The big dude can be funny sometimes.
Drax?
Yeah, sometimes.
Groot?
The tree.
He just says Groot.
No shit!
Take my money, haha.
What do you mean?
No, he's not funny.
He's not. It's not supposed to be funny.
He's not
most of the
interesting
time.
either.
Yes, he is.
Why?
I feel like you
Go
have
ahead.
Dude, if you watch the first movie,
why?
Go ahead.
I feel like when he started out as the character, like you said this before, when he was like his like old sage, wise version of Groot, where he was like, "Oh, give a flower to a little girl," and when we're all like in mortal danger, he wrapped himself around everybody and saved them, but sacrificed himself, and he said, "We are Groot."
So you just spoiled the fucking first movie.
I don't care.
Why would you do that?
Because
well, I guess I'm
You
not
should
gonna
watch
it
the
now
first
because he
movie,
ruined
though.
it. I can't. You just spoiled it.
you just said you don't give a shit about Groot.
I literally just said I would watch it potentially.
Potentially. In like 3 months from now, we get like a random text from you saying,
See,
like, should I watch Guardians of the Galaxy?
Why is it a spoiler when he's in Infinity War and I'm saying he's dying?
That's true.
What are you talking about?
Well, you know.
it's funny when Yaman asks like, should I see this movie? You have to like, I feel like I have to give like a gentle push, but like one that's close to indifferent, but like still slightly like positive. Like you asked
That's
if
so
you should see.
nailed exactly what the infuriating level of like thought you have to put into a recommendation with it.
Exactly. Like you asked, should I see Captain Marvel? And I was like, okay, I do want Yam to see Captain Marvel. How do I phrase this in a way that will like not immediately turn him off to the idea? And I'm just like, yeah, it was like a pretty fun Marvel movie. Like, would recommend or something like that.
I mean, I'm assuming you know me better than I know me because you deal with me, but I feel like that's not how it is, because I feel like if you say something, if you say it's an incredible movie and I would be making a mistake not to see it, I'd go, maybe I should see it. But then I might not.
He just gave you that lukewarm
But if you give me like a
review.
half-assed thing, I'm like, why would I? There's not a chance. No way.
What are the 3 movies that I like came all over myself when I talked to you about them?
I know Zodiac was one of them.
Oh,
we
you told
me
me to
you
watch
like,
Zodiac, and I watched it. And that was because I watched...
Did you enjoy it?
You recommended Mindhunter. Yeah, I did enjoy it. You recommended
Yeah.
Mindhunter, and I don't usually watch shows that only have a season or 2 because I don't like waiting months like in between. But I did, and I watched it, and I'm still waiting, and I don't know if the show got canceled or what the deal is, because
No, it's coming back.
They said it was coming back in December. It is now March.
I didn't even know you were researching this.
I
I didn't pay
didn't
attention.
research it like recently. I researched it like back in December. But
Angry.
I am angry because there's a reason I don't watch
What's the
shows
name of the
like
director?
David Fincher. He did
Yeah,
Zodiac.
he's very specific, so I imagine he's just taking his time.
Yeah, he's like a perfectionist.
He is the most interesting interviewed director I've ever
love him.
seen. He's so funny.
He's my
he was
absolute
like,
favorite director.
I don't remember what it was. I think it was like in every frame of painting.
Yeah.
That YouTube channel that now no longer exists, but they showed the clip of it's like, what do you think of your audience? And then he paused and he was just like, I think people are perverts.
Yeah.
And then he smiled in the weirdest like cat that ate the canary way, and I was just like, this is awesome. David Fincher.
He's like he's like the best filmmaker. That's like also like a very cool like person, because you think of Quentin Tarantino, he's like makes good movies, but he's a total like a weirdo. Yeah, he's a total fucking weirdo in real life.
Oh god, and then he did that impression of a black person when he was being interviewed by
yeah. He also has this fascination with like saying the N-word for some reason.
He is very fascinated with that.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. Then you have people like who did Twin Peaks? David Lynch. Yeah, he's he's got his own brand basically. He's like old, like out there, mysterious silver fox kind of dude.
If you have your own adjective based on your name, David Lynchian.
That's true. That's how you know you've made a mark, at least. Stanley Kubrick also was gigantic asshole, but like brilliant filmmaker. So I'm glad.
Silence was something.
Yeah.
Silence was something and infuriating at the same time.
Wait, what was?
Silence.
Oh, that's a Martin Scorsese movie.
Then I'm completely wrong.
Yeah. Stanley Kubrick's like an old dude who's not alive anymore.
He's not alive?
No, he's been dead.
Oh.
Martin Scorsese is alive. Stanley
Did he
Kubrick
make
made
2001: A Space Odyssey?
Yeah, he made that. He
I
made,
love that movie.
Fucking what's the Vietnam movie? Full Metal Jacket. He made Full Metal Jacket.
Is it that? I'm pretty sure you mean
No, it's Full Metal Jacket.
Apocalypse Now.
That's Francis Ford Coppola. Who made
Why are there so
Godfather.
many directors? There are too many.
I used to be.
Why
really
can't you all
into
just be the
movies.
same person?
There's we got director Bob over here. He's really good at war movies, and then we've got director Phil over there. He's kind of a weirdo,
It's
but
just like-
he puts out a good hit from time to time.
In Halo 1, when the Flood has like amalgamated Captain Keyes and you have to shove your hand like into the thing to get it in place, and it's just like an amalgamation of like flesh and directors. It's like, we are.
I always hate like zombie-esque alien race enemies or something. Like the Flood in Halo and then the Hive in Destiny. Both Bungie games, so maybe there's a connection there.
And then in Dead Space.
Oh, but Dead Space, like, yeah, that's like the whole game is just like facing like the weird zombie.
I
alien
like
thing.
those creatures because it's scary.
Yeah,
because
in
it's
Dead
not like
Space
they
they're actually
want stuff
scary.
from you. They just want your meat.
Yeah, exactly. Dead Space is very good, very underappreciated.
Brave
I
Mind's
feel like.
speech is one of my favorite, like, in entire video game history. Where he just props up all of this stuff. And he sounds like a caveman in a way, but also, like, he's just like, religion is just it's nonsense. What he's telling you is nonsense. But he says it in a weird poetic verse kind of way.
Yeah.
And Arbiter's like, kill me or release me, parasite, but do not waste my time with talk. It's like, oh, this is so cool.
It's basically like the nice way of saying shut the fuck up.
And then Master Chief's just like, hey, maybe you should quiet down. I'd rather not piss this thing off. It's like, ever the realist. This one is but machine and nerve.
Yeah, I mean, what was the reason you even wanted to see Infinity War? I forget.
I mean, I like superhero movies. I also like Spider-Man and Iron Man.
That's fair.
They're both in the movie.
Are those your top two?
Yeah. Deadpool's up there. I don't know if you call him a superhero. But
You saw Spider-Man Homecoming, right?
Yeah. I liked it a lot.
Cool. It's because, like, I rewatched Iron Man 3 last night. I mentioned this to you yesterday to, like, update my, like, ranking of the Iron Man movies. I still think 1 is the best, but 3 is a close second. And then 2 is, like, also good, but not as good as the others.
They're all good, but, like,
the others, yeah.
them.
But I'm surprised the amount of people that really just hate the twist villain that the Mandarin isn't really the Mandarin.
It's
that he's
bad.
Just an actor.
It's not good.
I
don't like it.
What do you mean?
I thought
Really?
it was pretty funny.
I didn't see it.
It was really funny, but
clearly
also,
didn't see it
like, I
coming.
like the idea of Iron Man having a nemesis.
Yeah.
And also, that would have been a
But
great
it's-
open up to the magic and the Marvel.
But it's such a...
I also really love that movie.
Yeah, but it's such a smart way to... Like, he even explains, like, why does everybody want a target on their head? You be the mastermind behind the curtains, and then no one can stop you because no one knows who you are.
I also like that they were, like, in a mansion in, like, the Key West.
Yeah.
Not anywhere
like,
else.
Florida.
Not anywhere in the Middle East, yeah.
And also, Ben Kingsley just does a great job of being menacing.
Yeah.
When he talks about the U.S. cavalry killing a village
Indians and stuff?
of Cherokee women and children, and he's like, the Braves were away. And it was just like, what the fuck? This is awesome. You are in need of another lesson, Mr. President. I don't like how they captured the president and the Avengers didn't immediately show up, though.
Yeah, see, that's what I was
That was
thinking.
pretty
Like,
stupid.
where is S.H.I.E.L.D.? Where is Captain America at least?
Iron Man's
like,
got this.
Like, yeah, like, no.
He had it. He had it down.
They were looking with binoculars. It was like...
They were, like, ready to go, and he was like, wait. He's got it.
Also,
We're good.
I mean, this is a CinemaSins thing I saw a long time ago, but when the president is literally in the Iron Patriot armor and he's like up like that,
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is going on? This is stupid.
Like, one, like, you can see that from, like, a mile away. And two, like, could he not, like, turn it on? Like, was
What
there
we're gonna
something
do
preventing
is
him
we're gonna
from-
put the president in a war machine and then we're gonna King Kong him up into the rafters.
Yeah,
That'll be awesome.
They were gonna kill him, right? It was like they were gonna publicize.
Yeah, they were
the
gonna, like,
killing
light him
in
on
the
fire
Iron
with, like,
Patriot
oil or
suit,
whatever.
What was his
which is,
name?
like,
Killian
Killian.
something.
Aldridge Killian. Aldridge Killian.
Killian
Yeah,
murders
Aldrich
suicide.
Killian. I love that. I love, like, it was like they met years ago, and like Tony Stark's
Yeah.
like, "Shut up, nerd! I'm gonna get some pussy."
Iron Man dunked on him.
I know.
I might just kill myself.
Yeah, no. The dude was like, I just need to talk to you for a minute. And Iron Man's like, I'll meet you on the roof, kid. And the guy waits on the roof for like an hour,
And
2
then he's
hours,
like,
3
I
hours.
guess I'll kill myself now. It's just
Yeah.
like,
And he's
You're like,
like,
it's gonna
but I
jump.
won't.
Yeah.
he said, I debated taking that one-step trip to the bottom floor. And as a kid,
Yeah.
I did not understand what the fuck that meant. But now, I was just like, oh.
Oh God.
But like, it's cool. I like Aldrich Killian as a villain. I think he's like a cool like sleaze bag
You like Aldrich
Yeah.
Killian as a villain.
as a villain. he's like an interesting like sleaze bag, and the idea of like Tony's like douchebaggy past coming back to haunt him is interesting. But at the same time, like realistically in that situation, like that guy was being like a weird, creepy like fan, and like I did not feel bad for him at all, pretty much,
It's
because
like
he was
The
being
Incredibles. It's like the kid from The Incredibles, the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Syndrome.
It's exactly like that.
And it's like the one kid from the Umbrella Academy.
I looked at you because I don't know the show.
You
I'm
remember
trying to think.
Vanya's
You look confused.
boyfriend,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is,
No
yeah,
spoilers,
I
guys.
guess
Like,
that
tried
is a
to-
trope.
who was like obsessed with them, and then like tried to like join them. And
I
then,
mean, people have said that Iron Man 3 is basically The Incredibles.
That's a
There's
take.
more of a team thing in The Incredibles.
Yeah.
They kind of need each other. Iron Man literally doesn't.
Iron Man needs Pepper.
Yeah,
So,
she
like,
had like
give him
superpowers.
coffee?
She has superpowers for
fucking
like 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, she does save him. She like uppercuts the fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She-
but-
Didn't like how she just suddenly knew capoeira at the end of that movie. She was just like, whoa!
no, that's
Well, no, they
that's
make
the-
it pretty
the
clear that
powers.
the what is the thing?
Powers gave her kung fu.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
I was joking.
It was
I wasn't really trying to
pre-programmed.
justify it.
It's like I want to be able to breathe fire and melt things with my hands,
Super
and
strength.
I want kung fu.
And kung fu.
They never. The one thing I'm actually thinking about now is that they never really explained, or at least gave like a bullshit science explainer of like why these people can like breathe fire and all this like crazy shit with the Exodus drug or whatever it's called. I don't think it's Exodus. It's something else. Extremis. Yeah, there we go.
Which is the dumbest name ever.
Isn't there
I'm
an
sure
Extremis?
it sounds Latin for something.
Extremis
It's
Iron
like
Man
Monster
suit.
Energy drinks.
Yeah, he's an Iron. Oh yeah, there's an Extremis Iron Man suit, right? That's like looks cool. Iron Man model 29. Never mind. It doesn't look that different actually. Whatever. What are you looking at?
Looking at the definition: situation at the end, edge, or tip occurring at the end of a period of time.
Extreme in degree.
It could also mean last, like omega.
Huh.
Extreme in degree.
Okay.
It's literally in English. It means extreme.
That makes sense.
Okay.
But bottom line, movie was not bad. I thought it was good. I don't understand the hate. Besides,
Hey,
like
for what?
Iron
Like-
Man 3.
Oh,
Like Patrick does have a point in like the tech stuff is too far, and like yes, when you really think about it, it is started to bug
it doesn't
me.
even a matter of thinking. Do you really need to think about
Well,
it to see it do?
I'd never thought about it, but like you made a great point. All of his parts fly all the way across the country somehow, and like I never really thought of that. I was just like,
I
awesome.
thought that was cool.
It was awesome.
I thought
They
it was
make it
cool.
seamless.
Cool. They do make it seem in the moment. You really don't think about that, but like,
I love how he
was it-
just keeps going like, now.
I like,
How about now?
that. Yeah, it was funny.
when it was battering down the door and the kid is like approaching it to unlock it. I immediately thought of Iron Giant when the
Yep.
different pieces are trying to get out of Corduroy or whatever the fuck that kid's name is house.
Yeah.
Hogarth.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're saying.
When the Iron Giant falls apart and the screw is like in his house
In
and
what?
the fingers are like moving around.
Iron
Iron
Giant,
Giant.
the movie Iron
I
Giant.
don't know what that is.
You've never seen Iron Giant. I'm so sure that you have.
Maybe when you were a kid, but probably I wouldn't blame you if you haven't seen it recently.
Oh, I don't think I've
Oh
seen
my
it, but I know
god,
what
the
it is.
Iron Giant die-cast action figure, $269. Is it the size of the Iron Giant?
Better fucking be.
I want to know the dimensions.
What's the scale?
God, that movie came out
No
20 years
information.
ago.
How big is this toy?
Zero answers.
Zero answers.
Zero answers.
No
this
one
question was
knows.
asked in December 2018.
No one knows because no one cares.
What do you mean? This guy cares. He's like, I really want to buy it. I just want to know how big it is. Though.
There's no reviews.
There's no reviews. There's no.
There's no information at all. Wait, look. You can see a smaller version.
No, that's the.
No, look, Yaman. It's
If
smaller.
there was, if,
But Yaman,
no,
look. But
when they
I like
kill you.
the you know the I can't remember if it was Brad Bird that made this that made Iron
is,
Giant.
yeah.
It was, yeah. I think
He made The
pitch-
Incredibles.
The pitch he made was, what if a gun had a soul and it didn't want to be a gun? And that's what Iron Giant is.
I like that.
It's an alien destroyer robot that came to Earth, but it hit something and then it jostled its like programming. So it's like it has the mind of a child, and then it meets Hogarth, and Hogarth teaches him to be sort of a superhero. And at the end, it all goes awry.
It's
See-
7 inches. It's $207.
$268 for a 7-inch figurine.
That's
I really thought.
No,
it was
you can
gonna be
pose him
cute.
sexy though. Look, he's bashful.
It's the last one, dude. It's the last one. I think I should buy it.
You should buy it right now. You'd flip that easily, dude. $300.
There's a long
$350.
series of art where people like take two properties that are like they're referential to each other. Like one of them I saw was Iron Giant, and he's like all like agape, and then Superman is floating in front of him and just putting his hand on his chest. He's like, "Hey, buddy, someone told me that you're a hero," and it's just like, "Oh, my heart."
Damn, dude. Speaking of Superman,
Captain Marvel.
and speaking, okay, well, neither of you
not
have
the
seen
transition?
Captain Marvel, so like we can't really talk about it. And I already
We can't really.
gave my
I don't
review
care,
last
though.
week.
You can spoil it. Are you gonna see it?
I'm not going to talk about
I'll
it.
see
I already
if you
talked
see
about
it.
it.
No, I don't care.
I already talked about it last week.
Here's an incentive that doesn't matter at all.
Doesn't matter to me at all.
Like it's like I would go see it like it's any other Marvel movie. I don't understand like this like
I don't
Well,
know.
deliberating
I don't know.
process.
People aren't
I
calling
want
it.
to see Shazam. I want to see Shazam.
That looks.
Shazam
I
looks
don't know
good.
why. Yeah, I know.
We're a bunch of sexists.
No, it has nothing to do with that. Literally, Iron Man movies come out, Avengers movies come out, Thor, Captain America, and everyone's like, this movie's incredible, you have to see it. And then Captain Marvel came out, and it's just like, everybody, not just your recommendation, but everybody like on Twitter and everything's like, yeah, didn't blow my mind. Yeah. But,
You said Doctor Strange.
It's Doctor Strange tier. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't enjoy Doctor Strange that much.
Okay. Well, whatever. Like, I'm excited. I like the character more than I like the movie. If that makes sense.
People hate Brie Larson with a burning passion.
I think she's one of the coolest people on earth.
People hate her so much, and by people I mean dudes.
Yeah. Strange
people
dudes
think
on the
she's
internet.
Snarky.
She does not give a shit, and it's
which
great.
Is the very polite way of a southern old man on a porch saying, "That woman's got some lip."
The other thing about this movie is that it's impossible to talk about it because there's always this cloud hanging over it, right? So it's just frustrating. And I enjoy the movie, go see it.
No, that wouldn't affect my viewing or opinion. That wouldn't affect my opinion of it at all. Whoa! I didn't even notice all this shit. Somebody tagged the Prude dudes.
It's one thing.
No, it wasn't that. It was something else. Someone took a selfie and said that we're funny. It was a mistake, I'm sure. But James Gunn is coming back. Fuck Captain Marvel. We don't have to talk about that. I'm sure it's talked to death by everybody.
He just scribbled it out really.
I also kind of missed.
Who is this?
You missed. You also didn't scribble out the. There you go. Nice. 10 out of 10 scribbling.
James Gunn is
Halo.
I can read it. What is that? What is that about? Reach?
Yeah, Reach and the Master Chief Collection is coming to PC.
Okay.
Which is great for me because I already own it. So hopefully I can play it on PC for free. But we'll see.
Is that a big deal? Why is everyone losing their shit? Is Reach really good?
I enjoyed Reach a lot.
Reach is my favorite. The best campaign, arguably. It's that
also,
or
I spent 673 billion hours in Forge just with my friends on a LAN party. It was awesome.
Forge and custom games is what I miss most about the old Xbox days, dude.
Also,
I love
SWAT.
that shit. SWAT 2. God.
Was it Halo 3?
Then Reach,
ODST, and then 4?
No, it's Halo 3,
ODST, then
Reach, and then 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I just didn't play Reach a lot, but I remember I really enjoyed ODST, and I don't remember playing
Reach
a lot.
Different, man. It was so weird.
So different, and I liked it.
It's you were not
firefight
a super strong Spartan warrior. You were just a dude trying to make it through the city, trying to just stay alive on this one
9 to 5
period. Yeah. It's I'm just on the job.
One of those things just like with Reach, you cared about the team a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing Buck again, even though Halo 5 sucked, just to see that after he that the Spartan program became more open, and it wasn't that you needed 700 surgeries to become a Spartan and you had to start it as a child. You could be enlisted and then apply to become a Spartan like he would a Navy SEAL, and he did that because he wanted to be the best of the best, and that was cool to see. But I didn't enjoy that game.
It was cool. Halo 5's campaign is really bad, but
really bad. Yeah.
Halo 5 multiplayer is actually pretty good.
Don't enjoy it at all.
You don't enjoy it? I think it's pretty. It's a lot better than 4.
Way too Call of Duty.
4 is too Call of Duty for me.
Both of them are bad. So
Halo 3 is the best though. Multiplayer
Halo 3 is the best. Halo 3
is pretty great.
We downloaded. My friends and I re-downloaded Halo 5, and they've been playing
Halo 5?
I haven't. Halo 5. Halo 4? Okay. What is the newest
Halo
one?
5 is the newest one.
Halo 5. It's part of Game Pass. So it's
yeah. That's how I played it.
And so we haven't played it yet. They've played it. I haven't because Halo doesn't do it to me anymore.
Reach's art style as well for the armor and the everything. It just felt so much more real.
Yeah.
Grounded.
I have Halo Reach digitally, so I was able to replay it recently when I got my Xbox One, and the art style is great. I love the moody atmosphere of the game.
Yep.
The problem is I didn't realize how kind of blurry some of those 360 games can be. I
guess.
I love, and this is a good feature of the Xbox One X, is that it can upscale the game's resolution, and it looks infinitely better. If you go and play Red Dead Redemption 1 on an Xbox One X, the upscaled version, as opposed to the regular version, it looks so much better. It's like a free remaster.
That was one of my favorite levels. When you finally get to fly a falcon or whatever the name of the thing is.
Pelican?
Javelin?
No, it's not a pelican. It might be a falcon. I don't know.
It's when you get
it looks like a Destiny ship.
Because Noble 6 has some experience, and when he was a Black Ops, they got him to fly the jet.
Oh, those things.
Yeah. when Cat is like, technically it's all, classified, but I pulled it up because I am Russian.
Oh, yeah. Dude, that was the fucking sickest mission in the world.
Goddamn cool.
I remember when that was like in the trailer for Halo Reach, everyone was like, oh, man, it's just going to be like Star Wars Battlefront, like space battles and stuff. It only lasted for a mission, but it was like the coolest.
It was really, really good.
In the world,
I would play an entire game like that.
I don't know why they never did more space combat stuff. Like Halo 4 had that at the end, and that was like the best mission in the whole Halo 4 campaign. Yeah, that was sick. I fucking love that. Yeah. The rest of that game was like kind of boring.
They should take a note from Ubisoft, and that sounds completely backwards, but they took the greatest mechanics from from Assassin's Creed 4, the pirating, and they're making an entire game out of it. They're like, look at this aspect that we have. This is awesome. Why don't we just make an entire game out of this? People love that.
But I also think it should just be a part of like Halo, because especially in Halo 5, there's a lot more vehicle combat now, and I think you could easily incorporate like flying into like multiplayer matches if you wanted to. But then it would kind of turn into more of a Battlefield thing, so I'm not sure if they really want to do that. You'd have to have like two different worlds where like there's classic like arena Halo where it's all about like aim, and then you have like your bigger open like Battlefield Halo. So it's tough to say.
June is so fucking cool.
The month or
June.
The character?
Character June. I don't remember if he's Noble 4. I just know at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
The ad.
All the character design in Halo Reach is like top notch stuff.
It's pretty great.
It is really top notch.
And there's Emil.
He's fucking cool.
Emil with his kukri.
These characters feel cool. Like I don't remember characters from other games.
There's Kat. She got her fucking cap blown off.
That's Michael Jackson.
That's Michael Jackson in her.
That's pretty crazy.
That's a Photoshop. But yeah.
This is really putting your computer through its paces. Sharing screens, recording, and on Skype.
Whatever. It's like a quad.
There's fucking Beef Boy.
I don't know who that is. McFarlane.
George. And then Carter is basically Captain America, which I really enjoyed. He was just like an enlisted man to the end.
Could you customize what Noble 6 looked like in the campaign? I don't remember. I'd like to make him look like a total idiot. Just like break.
The base armor that you have in that game
is sick.
It's so sick. Yeah. This is the base armor. It's so cool.
Fucking love. Yeah. No one knows what we're talking about. If you want to know what we're talking about, look up like Noble 6 armor, Halo Reach.
The customization that you get out of the multiplayer, I
really liked it.
It was so much fucking fun.
There was so much, and it was so cool because you could everyone looked different because how many different like options you had, and
everybody desperately wanted the Evo helmet with the skull on the inside.
Isn't there one called Katana or something?
I don't know.
Yeah, in Halo 3 that was a huge thing. Hayabusa armor.
3. Hayabusa.
Yeah, I had all the Hayabusa armor and it was fucking sick.
Oh, with the bones on it? I hated that shit.
No, it was like the ninja stuff. It was like the samurai stuff.
Right,
I don't like it.
I loved it. Dude.
It ruins my immersion.
If you had Hayabusa armor and a recon helmet in Halo 3, which is like the hardest helmet to get, you were a
recon helmet.
You were a god in Halo 3 if you had a recon helmet.
Oh wait, recon. Yeah. There's also CQC, which I enjoyed a lot. Which I'm pretty sure is what it was called.
Yeah, that was good, but like everyone had that. Like Hayabusa armor was awesome. A lot of people like if you did like machinimas and stuff. Like I know Red versus Blue like featured Hayabusa armor, and so did Inside Gaming when Adam still did it as like a machinima. Yeah, like they would like shoot it in Hayabusa armor because it like looked the coolest, and everyone knew you were legit.
Every single character is so unique, and they all have this jaded sort of opinion towards Noble 6 until he proves himself. They're all just like really mad because they really miss the original 6 because he blew himself up in that Covenant Corvette. And that little live action thing they shot.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you see him and Kat's got injured, and that's when she loses her arm. And then the original Noble 6, who you replace, he picks up the nuke, grabs the jetpack, flies up into the Corvette, and then it goes off and blows up the ship, but he dies.
It's like that movie with the astronauts.
Apollo 13.
I was just thinking Independence Day. Honey, I'm home. You remember?
Oh yeah, Independence Day. That's more relevant to. I don't know what the fuck you were talking about, Jan.
I'm back.
They get in the ship and they drive into the meteorite to blow it up.
Oh, Event Horizon?
I don't know, dude. There's like the blind astronaut that he's talking to his. One of them was blind and he's like video calling his daughter to say goodbye.
Oh, Interstellar?
It's like a really old movie. I don't know, dude. I think Bruce Willis was in it.
It's Event Horizon. It's Event Horizon.
Talking about Apocalypse?
No, he's talking about
Armageddon.
Event Horizon. Oh, Armageddon. It is Armageddon. I get those two mixed up. You're absolutely talking about Armageddon. Ben Affleck is also in it.
Yes, that one.
Yep.
Which one's blind?
One of them's blind. I know for a fact. This scene stuck with me. I've never seen the movie, but the scene.
Which one's blind?
I don't know.
Is that Owen Wilson?
That's Owen Wilson. The faces don't mean anything to me, but one of them is. I'm pretty sure one of them's blind.
It's John Coffey.
Dude, this is such a stacked cast of like early 2000s, late 90s like A-list actors. You have Bruce Willis, Billy Bob Thornton, Ben Affleck, Liv Tyler, Steve Buscemi, Michael Clark Duncan, Owen Wilson. It's like a who's who of like who can we get for this movie?
Who's who of men?
Yeah, exactly. And Liv Tyler, who's great, but she's like lesser known.
Isn't it like they blow up most of the meteor, but a piece of it breaks off and like crushes like Paris?
I don't know.
Who cares about Paris?
Pretty
Probably
Paris. I've been there.
Joke.
Do you think when they named that city, they were like, "Yes, let's name it after the guy who killed Achilles"?
I don't think. How do you say? I don't know what it is called in French. It's just called Paris.
Paris, yeah.
Paris
it's named after the soda, the carbonated.
Perrier?
Yes.
They pronounce it completely differently.
You got it.
Shut up.
Some French asshole was sitting there like, "This is good enough for a city." And then they named it.
Okay. Got James Gunn.
James Gunn. What about? I can't think of any else.
You guys didn't watch the Avengers Endgame trailer, so we can't talk about that.
No, I don't want to.
It's good. It's
Yeah,
well, I'll like.
Nope, just shut up.
I'm not gonna spoil anything.
Spoiled for me.
You think that you're not going to give out a big spoiler, but you're going to mention
your
a
headphones
thing.
off?
Quite literally not a spoiler because
Okay,
it's literally footage of the old movie. Old movies.
take-
It's Iron Man 1, Thor 1, and Captain. You can't. Why are your headphones off? Okay, I'm done. Whatever. Fuck it.
Are you done?
Yeah.
I hope the audience took their
It's Iron
headphones
Man
out
1,
as well.
Captain America 1, and Thor 1 footage. That's it. That's all. That's the whole trailer. It's like half the trailer. I'm not going to mention the rest, but that's it. They just show old movies.
That's not even.
It's not a spoiler. It's a literal movie that already exists.
There was just
Say
it was
the
like a
third time.
clip show like of
Half
the
the
first three
trailer
movies.
is just clips from Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man 1. That's it.
Okay, well, I still need
The
to
whole
watch
goddamn
those,
thing.
so
I-
it would be a spoiler.
I mean, I think, which was one of them. I saw it as the thumbnail, like all the little pieces of the armor when he first like escapes the.
Yeah,
I
when
did
he
know.
crashes
Yeah.
into
No,
the,
no, that wasn't it when he lands in the. Oh, in the desert. That's right.
Yeah,
in
the desert. He escapes the cave
Right.
and then but
Survives
it doesn't go
that
as far as
somehow?
he wants it to. Yeah, that's like the.
Shut up.
that's the
First
shot
one's
in that trailer.
perfect.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty good.
and then it turns out that
Hawkeye's the villain.
Thanos
What?
is gay. So
Who's Dennis?
Thanos.
Oh, I heard Dennis as well. I really did.
Who fucking Dennis from Always Sunny?
Dennis.
I mean, honestly, that's like so implied throughout the series, so I could.
Yeah,
believe
so
that's
I
what you
mean,
were saying.
honestly, like that makes sense that you heard it that way. So,
What do you think that the enemy's gonna be? Because they've got. I mean, Thanos is all the children of Thanos are dead. They murked all of them.
They murked.
Well,
all
it's
of
gonna
them.
be-
Get wrecked.
doesn't Thanos still have those little bug dudes that fought in Wakanda
He
for him?
brought those with him to his farm.
I think he can just.
He just
kinda,
has a
like,
sea of little bug
workers.
dudes.
They're like workers.
Hello, my little bug man.
Did he? This is just at the end of Infinity War.
Did it look like he broke the gauntlet?
What happened to the gauntlet? Yeah. Was it like?
Or was it just smoking from the juice that
Right,
extruded?
I think it was
a lot.
just. I think it was smoking in the way a blender smokes if it like spins too fast and gets too hot. You know what I mean?
A blender?
A blender.
Yeah, if it, like,
thought
hits-
blender-
Why are
I
you
thought
using your
about
blender like that?
Blunderbuss.
Those aren't for grinding up
Shakes,
rocks.
dude.
But I
They're not
think,
for grinding up
I think
Daniels.
that the Infinity Stones are just so powerful, and as you know, as strong as the Asgardian, like the dwarf, like metal is,
Mm-hmm.
it's still like creaking under the might of like what created the universe. So
Yeah.
it's like it's not broken, but it's like on its last legs.
Okay.
Like he literally snapped his fingers and got rid of half the universe. So I imagine that was quite a big thing to bear.
Think about the
I mean,
processing power in that gauntlet.
Is the gauntlet itself anything special? Because
I think it's
they
just
never
made of
really
uru.
explain what it's made of. Yeah, or like,
Uru, I imagine.
Well,
What is
isn't the
Uru?
idea that like
The thing that Thor's original hammer was made of, and I assume what Stormbreaker is too.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
a
isn't it
special
the
metal.
idea that it's something that has to be able to use all the stones' power like together or something? Like you
Oh,
can't just tape
wait.
the stones. To
I imagine
to
if you were strong
fucking
in a
glove.
person, you could just hold them all in your hand and then do it. But
Oh.
Thanos probably isn't that strong, so he
Yeah.
has to have some sort of like.
He needs protection.
Okay. Okay.
Oh wait,
right.
it is. I think.
Wrap it up before you snap it up.
When they go to, thank you. When they go to the Peter Dinklage forge in Infinity
so
War,
right?
don't we
The
see like
Peter
a
Dinklage
casing
forge.
of the glove, and
Yeah.
that's how they made it? Okay, that's
Like
I
the
just remembered
first
that.
thing they see when they get out of the pod is like, oh, I guess Thanos was here, and then he gets punched by the giant dwarf.
Yeah, by giant superimposed Peter Dinklage that in like
Who's
Photoshop.
talking like
In
this?
Photoshop, they just like took his like footage and like stretched it out with a little box, like when you're trying to place a picture in Microsoft like Word.
They had to stretch for quite a while
Yeah.
to get it big enough.
So
Someone just said I look like Ethan Dolan.
I don't know who that is.
isn't he
That's
one
an
of those
insult.
douchey?
He looks like Jay Leno.
Let me see if this is true.
Please don't say it's true.
Ew. You don't look like Ethan Dolan at all.
Thank you.
And he also doesn't even look like Jay Leno.
Yes, he does look like Jay Leno.
He does not. This kid's
Ethan
like,
Dolan type Jay Leno.
maybe the face, but the hair and like his features make him look too dark to be like Jay Leno.
Why is it not next to each other?
Yeah. This guy like just drips douchiness. Like I'm already not about it. Ethan
He looks
Dolan's
like a young
Ethan
Jay
Dolan's
Leno.
He does look
cutest
kinda like
moments
I see it.
2018.
Sharper jawline.
Emma Chamberlain and Ethan Dolan dating. Why there's so much content about this? I will never understand how people are interested in this. But whatever.
Some people were, everybody was 13.
Everyone's got a hobby. I know.
What was your
it's
first?
fine.
What is your first memory of your wiener wiggling? Who was the thing that you saw on TV that was like?
I'm
Damn.
trying to get a job. I'm not
God,
trying to talk
let's
about my
not.
wiener.
Not you know what I mean. What was your first time when you're sitting there and you're watching a movie or watching TV or something, and then go like, whoa, like you saw
Totally
something that you
Spies.
were like, I'm attracted to that.
Totally Spies. I actually do.
Totally
like,
Spies.
Yeah. I think. I
Oh
kinda
yeah, their
remember
little
this.
bodysuits.
Yeah, dude. Let's show awoke.
Remember the movie?
Woke
And there's
that
that
in
handsome guy who turns out to be Sly.
Oh yeah.
It was actually a good show too. I did really enjoy the show.
What were you talking about, Pat?
The movie
Which
for
movie?
that.
Oh, for
Was it
Totally Spies.
movie?
Yeah, and then they have like their Alfred, who's
Oh
like
yeah.
the Charlie's
Isn't that-
Angels
Isn't
character.
that just part of the show?
Yeah. And then there's she was in that?
No, she's down for one.
Huh. I remember one episode, or maybe it was part of the movie, where the black-haired character, she's like going to, steal a motorcycle, and there's a helmet on it, and she's like, please don't be any helmet sweat, please don't be any helmet sweat, and she puts it on, she's like, ew, I said please, and then she drives away. It's very cute.
Okay.
Oh, it's a French-Canadian series. That makes sense.
That's weird.
They-
You remember
Canadians
Code
make a lot of
Lyoko?
good shit. That show was awesome, dude.
That was a French show.
Fucking
Code
love
Lyoko, is that what you
show.
said?
Code Lyoko. Code
I know.
L-Y.
Yeah, no. So I remember this show, but like barely. Like this show is like
Love
deep
this
in my
show.
mind.
It's
like,
one of those core memories.
My
Their
biggest
foreheads
complaint-
were so fucking
Yeah.
big. Click this.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ. Who are these kids? I don't remember them.
I don't
Oh, yeah, it
remember.
is
These
French.
are the new ones.
I just remember I wanted to be the cat kid because he could shoot things out of his
It was
hands.
cool. My biggest complaint about the show is that the regular 2D animation style for the show is beautiful, and then they go into this like 3D world and they all look like bad.
I didn't mind it at
RuneScape
all.
characters. I
don't
didn't mind it
care.
at the
I remember
time,
her.
but
She
looking
was
at
the
it,
she was
it's
the
like-
program.
Well, I remember.
Oh, the pink girl in the program. Yeah.
Here we are going far to save all that we got. Oh, I guess it's the theme
The
song.
theme song, yeah. So somebody put the lyrics of the theme song on the forehead of one of the characters. It's so big.
Oh,
Can we
man.
put that as
I'm
the
gonna
thumbnail?
share my screen with you, Alex,
Yes.
just real quick. Just like,
Save this image and send it to Pet. Yeah.
Yeah, send it to me and I'll put it in the.
there you
It's
go.
the Instagram thing.
I'll put it in the Instagram
God,
thing.
that's funny.
That's amazing.
Oh my god. You idiot. You lost
Space
it
for rent.
Space for it. Yeah,
Oh my
just go on
God.
the forehead like that.
That's gonna be the whole Instagram post is just like Code Lyoko memes.
That's it.
God.
But this looks very Destiny.
Oh, I forgot. There's also a plot thread where they bring the program girl out into the real
Into
world
the real
too,
world, yeah.
and she dates the nerdy kid with glasses whose head looks like a bowling ball.
Some like nerdy programmer writer
drew her.
was like,
Yeah.
that is pretty good.
Pet, you
It's
look.
not bad.
Let me see.
He drew a forehead with a girl at the end.
That's
It's
accurate.
like
Yeah.
a guitar pick.
The forehead ratio is spot on. I'm really proud of you, son. One thing I wanted to bring up that's kind of like a side aside from anything we've been talking about, is it's so fucking weird to talk to yourself in a room alone. The reason I had to do that is because I had to do one of these automatic job interview things that you just record yourself answering questions, and I had to do that 9 times for this shit so thing. Much. It's so uncomfortable because you need to make like when you're talking to a person, there are things you're used to, face. Right? Like mannerisms and stuff, and like you have a face to look at, and the way they're reacting can like feedback what like how you say something, for example. But when you're doing it to your camera, making eye contact with your camera is perhaps the most unnatural thing in the world. It is bizarre. And also just talking in a room alone feels incredibly weird. It's how I don't understand people who vlog by themselves, like vlog their everyday and just being like, okay, so this is what I'm wearing today, and there's no one else around. It's so uncomfortable.
That's like when I used to stream, when you don't have a following at all. Like speaking into the void. You speak into the void because there's a delay in the stream. So I don't know what it's like, 15 seconds, 18 seconds, whatever it is. So if you don't talk for 15 seconds and somebody joins your stream, sees you staring at at the game playing, don't say anything for 10, 15 seconds, they're gone. So you have to talk like you have an audience all the time, and you sound like a fucking lunatic.
Exactly. See, it's easier. I feel like it would be easier even if you were just in like an Xbox Live party or something. Like I would be completely fine with like streaming that and just being like, because that kind of inherently, provides content, like banter basically. Mm-hmm. Instead of bantering with yourself, at least you have other people to bounce it off of. You know what I mean? But when I did gameplay commentaries, like an idiot in like early high school.
Hey, you had a following.
Yeah, well, like small-ish, but like
you had something.
I had eventually got like really used to like talking to myself like in a room, like over my like rinky-dinky laptop.
So did you lose it?
Did I what?
Did you lose your ability to be comfortable with it?
Yeah, I think I did, and especially in a high-stakes situation like a job interview, it's even worse. Like it was really uncomfortable. I think I actually did well because I'm really good at like faking confidence. So fingers crossed on that job, but yeah, overall, it's just something I really don't enjoy. Like, I can fake my way through it, but
it's pretty bad.
Only go so long. Yeah.
I don't know how I got used to it, but I guess it's just hammering.
Yeah, you do it all the
face.
time.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you see it?
Exposure.
Do you see it more as like a performance, or like?
I don't know if I have a word for it.
You don't have a word for it. You just do it.
I just do it.
Yeah.
I do think it's strange when I fuck up, because Instagram has the worst fucking recording thing I've ever used in the world. The only real thing that I miss from Vine, besides like the really funny videos, is the editing thing and the recording thing, because it was so streamlined and perfect. And for Instagram, you record something, and then if something's wrong with it, you have to delete the whole thing. So let's say you record 2 things. You have to delete both of them if there's something wrong with the first one. It is the most awful thing in the universe. I hate it. But when I fuck something up, let's say I say like, the quick brown fox jumps over the clever dog or whatever, and I say that, and then I have to delete it because there was something wrong with it, and then I'm in my room repeating what I just said with the exact same emphasis and tone, and it's completely lunacy. It's just like weird. Yeah, that is strange. I'm not really self-conscious about it anymore.
Why don't you use some other app and then
I've looked for
upload
one. I trust
nothing
me.
better than the shitty Instagram one you just described?
There used to be a Vine camera or whatever, and then they took it down. But I can't find any good ones. If anybody has any recommendations, I'd love to know.
It's wild. Okay. I think the last thing we want to touch on... Do we want to talk about New Zealand real quick? Just like bring that up.
I don't even know what to say anymore.
Yeah.
It's just disturbing.
Well, obviously this didn't happen in America. This happened in New Zealand, which is like pretty far away actually. But the more disturbing part about this one, besides like people dying and like the tragedy of that, is that this was pretty explicitly came about because of elements on the internet. So this guy, I don't even know his name or whatever, which is good, actually. I think we're getting better at not, spreading these people's bullshit.
Right.
But like, he was pretty explicit in his, whatever it is he wrote about how, he would watch like shit on YouTube and like, right-wing YouTubers and personalities like Candace Owens, who's like genuinely an insane person. And just all these crazy elements. And then he ended it with saying like, subscribe to PewDiePie.
It was so
which
fun.
is a whole other fucking thing, which is like,
I feel
makes
like
my
even talking
skin
about
crawl.
it in this way is kind of what he wanted. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know what to
it's
do.
not for him. Like,
No,
it's
it
not
isn't for
about him.
Yeah.
He's a nobody. He's
scum.
faceless and nameless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that
Like, I don't even,
Did you see
I legit
he
don't even know
wrote
his
all
name.
over his guns in like a silver Sharpie.
No, I didn't see that.
What the fuck? I feel like, what? It's just,
Did you see it? Did you watch the video?
thought like for 20 minutes is like, should I watch this video? And then I think that's what he would want to people. That's what that's it. He
why he
literally
did it.
recorded himself.
Did you watch
Yeah.
it, Alex?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Did you?
No.
I
You
did.
said you
And
watched
I
it for
don't
like
think
2
it's
seconds.
the full. It was like 45 seconds. Was the
Okay.
video that I saw.
And
Man, it was tough. Yeah, I don't know how much I should talk about.
I
it,
think
'cause I
it's
just
still worth talking about from this point of view, because I think it's important that we come to an understanding of like why this person did what he did, besides him being obviously like crazy. Like, what are these things that are driving people to, become radicalized, essentially? Like, all this stuff online that's becoming more and more dangerous and creating more and more dangerous people. I think we need to be aware of that and start doing something about that. Like, when people saying like, oh, free speech, you shouldn't ban anyone on anything and just let like the people decide, like, that's incredibly dangerous, because at least like on social media and stuff, that stuff has massive ripple effects, because a lot of the times it doesn't get like smacked down. A lot of the times people just like retreat into their corners or like get like, tricked into viewing all of this crazy content, and eventually like they start believing in it too. Like, you can start with like a video about, why Islam is like morally wrong, just from like maybe a research perspective. Maybe you're curious, and then slowly you slip down a rabbit hole thanks to like the fucking algorithms and stuff of being like, oh yeah, like the white people are like about to go extinct or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And then like immediately you're like, oh shit, I have to do something.
And
about
then
this.
there's these people who are sometimes funny and sometimes charismatic and sometimes
the other
just
thing.
good. They're good talkers.
Yep.
And they can turn someone who you would assume is completely level-headed into a complete psychopath in the matter of 3 videos. It's ridiculous.
The danger of the charismatic cult leader has become infinitely more dangerous because of the internet. Anyone who has that kind of magnetic personality can weaponize that and use that to spread a cause that is incredibly dangerous. And I think that's something that more people need to be aware of. And that's why I honestly think deplatforming and just like banning people from all the major platforms it's never going to be like a foolproof solution, but it'll be way more effective than just like letting them stay on. Like, you see that happen with Milo Yiannopoulos, that
He's banned from Australia.
He's banned from Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and he is in financial ruin now. Like, he has nothing. Like, he has fallen out of prominence significantly.
But you know that there's still like some dark corner of the world where people are still funneling these kinds of people money because they think it's a punch against the people they don't like.
Yeah,
prop up another one of them. Like, one of us, guys, let's all band together and help him. Yeah,
and that's obviously, it'll be hard to ever fully solve that problem, but like even the most that social media companies can do just by like banning these people, it's still better than nothing. It's way better that this stuff doesn't exist on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, so people don't fall into that rabbit hole, right? Like, just plug it up. Like, you create less opportunities for people to become radicalized, and shit like this won't happen as often. What you guys looking at?
Just have to guess. Things that the shooter
I kind of want to read this
in his manifesto.
In like, this is like should be taught somehow in some class. Is like this is evidence of something. There's got to be a bigger. This is what?
It's like Mindhunter.
It's so
stuff.
like that.
It can be studied.
But then again, this guy was such a freak that he was saying subscribe to Beauty Pie. So this again could be just another crazy joke to him.
Well, I think that's the problem. That's a big part of the problem is that all this bigoted, hateful shit is under the guise of joking and just trolling. And so you can never pin them down because they'll just be like, "Oh, it's just a joke, bro," or like all this like fake, insincere bullshit that the internet has birthed.
He literally, should I say it out loud?
Go for it.
He literally says, "Well, lads, it's time to stop shit posting and time to make a real life effort post." And this article explains that that's Channer speak for time to stop posting racist memes and start committing actual violence.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he was posting all this shit on 8chan, so
yes,
that's great. I think one of the things he said was like journalists are next in all caps, like repeated like 50 times or something crazy like that.
Is this guy dead? Did he die?
No, they caught him. He's being charged for murder.
Oh wait, they caught him?
They caught him.
I thought there was another woman
I thought he killed
or someone
himself.
else involved. There was 2 men and a woman.
Oh, I don't actually.
Oh yeah, there were other people arrested.
And then a bomb
too,
in a car.
2 people. Well, yeah. So this article said something about he's being charged for murder, and then there's 2 people being charged with possession of something, weapons or something.
A bomb in a car.
I don't know. Hang on.
I saw that there were multiple people charged, which is what I was confused about. I probably should have researched this more, but I was just kind of like not.
A 28-year-old man was charged with murder and will appear in court Saturday morning local time. 2 others were arrested on suspicion of possession of firearms. Police were investigating their ties to the incident. Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so far people are, especially news organizations, speaking from that perspective, are handling this in a really good way, not spreading the video this guy made, not spreading
I don't even know his name.
I don't know
I love
anyone's
that
name.
so much.
That's so good.
I don't even know what he looks like. I don't know his
I
name.
couldn't tell you.
Yeah, which is great.
Has CNN or Fox News posted pictures and name of this guy?
Well, here's the thing.
I don't think so. I don't think
here's
CNN
what some people were
has.
saying, and of course, like take this however you want. But they were saying that if this shooter were, say, Muslim or black, his picture would be everywhere, and his birthplace would be everywhere, and his freaking report cards would be up on the screen also. Like, that's something to think about.
It's completely true.
Yeah.
But in this case, I mean, even Trump, dare I say it, did a good job condemning this.
What did he say?
He called him a terror.
I mean,
called it a terror attack.
It's pretty hard to fuck up. This guy's awful.
Yeah.
It's Trump.
So it's like we take a win where we can get it.
Yeah.
I've seen some people manage to make this about other things. Like, so there was one Australian, not Australian, like New Zealand politician or senator or something, who said like the real reason this happened is because of the Muslims that are coming into our country. And I was just like,
wow.
How disconnected do you have to
Who
be
said that?
from what just happened? A New Zealand like elected official, like a politician. Like some maniac person.
What is his name?
I don't remember his name. I just saw
I
it.
don't even know what to look up there.
That's fucked.
God.
And it's even more fucked because he's making decisions for an entire country.
I know. So, I mean, the only good thing, if there is some silver lining to take away from this, is that.
What about that win?
God damn it! Why is he so shit?
Trump
Why
says
can't he do
white
anything
nationalism is not a rising threat after New Zealand attacks. It's a small group of people.
Well, so much for that fucking.
God damn it! You big orange idiot.
You know what's also a small group of people that causes problems that you like to make a bigger deal out of than it is? Islamic terrorists. So it's kind of funny how that works, you know? How, like, you know, there can be a small group of people and they can still be part of, like, terrorism. Weird how
I
that
love
works.
that. Okay, I don't want to say I love that sentence, but it's so well written. President Trump said Friday he does not believe white nationalism is a rising global threat after a gunman who espoused the ideology massacred 49 Muslims at mosques in New Zealand during their afternoon prayers.
This is wow, Jesus Christ.
Washington
Post article by Colby Idkowitz and John Wagner. Good job, guys.
There is, I think, a dangerous aspect of this when you're talking about this versus Islamic terrorism, which I guess is the obvious connection because that's what people are used to, is that Islamic extremism happens in certain areas because of, desperation, endless war and conflict, in large part because of like what the U.S. and the West has done to like kill innocents, and then that radicalizes other people. It's a whole fucking mess over there. But at least that's contained to like a physical region. When the radicalization is online, it's almost impossible to stop that. Like that can reach anyone.
It's
potentially
the thing that you said 100 times. It's that even if you have the worst opinions in the world, then there's a sect of the internet where people will believe you.
Yeah, that was Neil deGrasse Tyson was the problem with the internet is someone that thinks the Earth is flat can Google it and find a billion other people who think the Earth is flat, further solidifying their
validated.
Same issue with like anti-vaxxers. Like you can find like a stupid fucking blog saying like, yeah, vaccines are terrible and like you don't actually need them. And then before you know it, we have measles outbreaks all over the goddamn country because a couple of idiots out there don't like want to vaccinate their kids.
Just a few.
Yeah. So, silver lining, if there is one to take away from the situation, is I think we become more aware of this threat and how it can develop, and
do you know like
we handle these situations more appropriately by like not naming these people.
The sheer weight of 49. I've just been saying 50 people.
Suspect had white supremacist symbols on his weapons.
I think there may be a case of this here.
I'm
not sure yet, but we need more evidence.
Do you guys think he's a white supremacist?
I'm not sure.
I don't know, dude. It's a small group of people,
Sometimes I wish there was a hell.
God.
Sometimes I wish.
Sometimes I wish that, well, this didn't happen here, but sometimes I wish for, like, shitty people like this, we weren't a civilized nation that, like, takes him through a justice system rather than like throwing him to a crowd that beats him to death.
Literally just drop him on an island with like 1 million like hungry tigers.
Gladiator pit.
Yep.
Oh man.
Said it 100 times.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
Not with other people, with lions and tigers and bears.
Things that would definitely win.
Yep.
Or a van. He has to fight a van.
There's a million vans charging at him.
Just get Optimus Prime, just squish him.
Yeah.
Just knowing that this fuck is gonna end up in a box, locked up for the rest of his life. That is a special kind of torture.
Okay. Do you guys have anything else to say?
Oh, what I was saying before about the weight of 50 corpses. The last time I had that thought process of like trying to show myself how many and how much that really is, I was working at a pool like 2 years ago. That's how long this has been a part of my life. Just like thinking about these things. At 60, I think it was, for Las Vegas.
I'm not sure how many people it was.
It was a lot, and more than one. One is a lot, but like a lot.
I mean, the weirdest thing about this one is that it didn't happen in America.
59.
59, yeah.
Yeah. So, and there was another mass shooting in a school in Brazil before this.
Yes.
Like this week.
I saw that. I saw that on the Morbid subreddit that I'm on.
Yeah. And so I really hope this does not lead to, this problem that we thought was U.S.
At least 5 students,
unique.
2 teachers killed in Brazil shooting. Fuck.
Yeah. So I hope this is not fucking spreading like a disease or something. Or I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
Do you notice that there will be... I mean, obviously you could chalk this up to, other countries, we don't want to deal with their problems or think about them, but we have a certain lack of empathy for things that go on. Like there'll be a bombing in Yemen or something that'll kill like 160 people, and you won't see it anywhere. And it's just like, well, I mean, it's the Middle East.
For sure. There is absolutely a huge disconnect. And I think it's tough to explain why.
It's not tough at all.
Well, I feel like we have this idea that we are...
Our blood matters.
As a Western country,
No.
we relate more to other Western countries when they are attacked because it's extremely unusual. So when like Paris happened, when this happened, we are much more impacted by that because we are not as different from them as we are from places in the Middle East.
Because we don't
not
think
to
of
say
America as a war zone.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're at a certain point where we are not constantly facing conflict, right? Like in certain areas, there's constant bloodshed, there's gangs or wars or whatnot.
You feel safe walking to Safeway.
You feel safe walking to Safeway, exactly.
You wouldn't want to wear a flak jacket walking to Safeway.
And then you hear something like this happens, and it's so hard to believe that as far as we are,
But I still feel safe walking to Safeway. That's weird, isn't it? At this point, I should be thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's because we still, even if we empathize with it more, if it's in like a Western context, we still have that sensation of like, that's the other. Like, that happens to other people. That won't happen to me.
I mean, that's always...
Is that a survival instinct, do you think?
I don't know, like I feel like that's
it's
also
an interesting
a youth
psychological
thing.
like phenomenon. I don't know like what it's just called, but I know it's been described to me before. It's
I feel
bizarre.
like it's a youth thing. Like we feel like we're invincible as I don't know.
Maybe that as well. Yeah, it could be.
Because that's why people do stupid things. That's why people.
I like.
I'm not sure that's it in this context,
I
but
think
I
it's
know
an
what you
element
mean.
to it.
Okay, not in this context, but just kind of in general.
That may contribute to it for some people.
This idea that I'm not going to get cancer, that I'm not going to get in a car accident and die.
Well, I know exactly what you mean, and I don't think that stuff. I'm very conscious of the fact that I know I'm not invincible, but I can't wrap myself in fear of all of the diseases I'll possibly get because they'll never do anything ever.
Yep. That's the thing. I don't.
What's the fuck the thing people say then the terrorists win or something like that?
No, that's what you say when you win in Counter-Strike.
Shut the fuck up.
That's what the narrator says. I was just.
I believe you.
I know what you mean. Like by like living your life in fear, that's letting the terrorists win. What are you
Stop.
pointing at?
Not now.
Nothing. I'm pointing at Funhouse. Leave me alone.
Get out of here. All right. Any last points you guys want to make before we move on?
Just in your head, I know it's morbid, but think about like what dimensions of your room you laying down would take up, and then try your best to imagine 49 of you fitting in your room, just to bear what it feels like to lose that many humans to an idiot. That's all I gotta say.
It's also worth noting that something like this happens, and they're already... Who was it?
I don't know anything about their gun laws in New Zealand.
Yeah, but the point is,
strict.
immediately, they promised to change them, to prevent this from happening again.
He had a lot of guns.
New Zealand politician.
And they weren't like handguns either, they were rifles.
The 40th and current Prime Minister of New Zealand immediately said that there were going to be changes to the gun laws. Immediately. We've probably had 10 shootings, 20, 30 shootings in the time that New Zealand has had one. Some of them deadlier than this. And still nothing.
Every time I think about
And
this
it's
stuff,
nuts.
I see Mitch McConnell in my head.
It's just...
And it just makes me sick.
The Prime Minister's response is so natural. It's so like...
There's
so
the hole in the boat. Let me go patch that up.
Let me go patch... Exactly. It's hard to fathom that we can't do the same thing.
I really hope that is something shared throughout whatever they have a parliament or representative or something. I hope that's a wave of feeling like let's all band together and sign this document and see this done. But I really hope that is. I really don't know if that's the case though.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
Seeing
about
her
New
being
Zealand's
this enthusiastic brings me hope because obviously the leader of that country doing that says a lot about the confidence that I should have in her. But I don't have a lot of confidence in other people.
Yeah, but it's just natural. It's why are we so weird
Reflex.
in this country? It's reflex. Think about what else do you do in reflex?
There's a Velociraptor loose in the country. Perhaps we should take care of that. It's like, but you know what?
Well, listen.
But let's not infringe on the Velociraptor's rights, all right?
It's just so weird to me.
Perhaps you're not thinking this clearly. What if we gave everyone a Velociraptor?
Ah.
That would fix the problem entirely. Then no Velociraptors could hurt anybody because everybody's got a Velociraptor. Fucking idiots.
Okay. So
that's a good note down, dog.
To
I feel like it would be morbid. We could call this episode "Everybody's Got a Velociraptor."
I'm gonna write that down.
Okay. We're not
I
gonna
always
make a joke about that chick's
I don't have to.
We could do that as well. We can do that on Instagram.
That's a separate thing.
Okay.
I just meant putting
that's
that
a
on
good point.
Instagram.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So we got this email from Regina. Pretty long.
Screen these?
Yeah, I did. This one I
Okay,
screened.
cool. Oh no! Next week we're gonna get a bunch of sad emails about this.
Oh.
Kind of
Sorry, you're inconvenienced.
I think people can provide.
No,
I think
sorry, you're
because I'm already
inconvenienced.
feeling this, and then I just want to.
By next week, you're gonna kind of.
I think people
forget
can
about it, but
provide
just like,
an interesting perspective. I think it won't be all sad. I think there will be some constructive conversation about this.
Okay.
We're gonna get someone that was like, evil,
Yeah.
they deserved it, ha ha ha, and then we block them and stuff.
So tired of people, man.
I'm trying to see which part of this. It's long, but I'm like filtering it
How
in my
long?
head about the way too long to read.
You can
but
read
basically,
a piece.
yeah. Hey y'all, I don't really know how to start this email, but I just wanted to say I really enjoy listening to you guys talk about things. It's refreshing to hear your point of view on politics and social issues because you talk about it so casually, yet matter of fact. I was gonna wait till I listened to all the episodes before sending an email, but then I realized I'm not even halfway. In one podcast, I think it was episode 30 something. You are way behind. Patrick and Alex were talking about their views on religion and also death, and y'all said something along the lines of, quote, I bet no one cares about what we're talking about right now, and I just wanted to say that I care, and I really enjoyed listening to it. I really like the perspective Patrick gave about how life is like a room, and you're only allowed to go through the door once you've stood in the room for a certain amount of time. I don't really remember what y'all said about religion.
I'm really profound.
I don't really remember what y'all said about religion because I listened to this months ago, but I remember really resonating with me. Also, not to be another lifeguard in the crowd, but do you have any cool save stories? She's been a lifeguard for 3 years and has never had to make a save, but she's getting so bored at work that she wants someone to drown so she can do something.
Oh God.
I appreciate that you appreciate our talking about nonsense, but the closest thing I've come to a save beyond just scooping someone out of the water who was having trouble was before I left and got my new job. I treated a woman who had a door fall on her at the front of the facility, and it was like one of those big sliding metal doors that weighs like
Oh, that's
40
wild.
pounds. And she didn't have a concussion to my knowledge, but yeah, I sat with her, filled out a report, that whole thing. That was probably the most serious thing I ever had to deal with.
I probably mentioned this before, but on my third day of work ever, I had to jump in and save like a drowning toddler, and I definitely didn't do it the like correct formation, I guess, but like I basically just instinctively like grabbed my buoy, push it to the kid, push the kid to the wall, and that was that.
You do that for a toddler?
Yeah,
Toddlers
like a
are
big
tiny. Just pick them up.
like a big toddler though. I don't know.
I
It's
think
hard
of a
to
toddler and I
describe.
think of a kid that's like this big.
I don't know. That's just like
2
what I
feet
did.
Tall.
That's what I did. I made him grab the thing, and I was like, okay, whatever.
I would just.
But it was a good lifeguarding was a good like first like high school job. It
If
was
you
fun.
have
you
to
got to be
have-
outside, and it was whatever.
if
Could
you
be
have to
worse.
do it, try your best to do outdoor summer lifeguarding.
Yeah.
Indoor, I don't know why. I mean, it's a numbing job, but it'll be less numbing if you're outside because it's sort of like a fun in the sun aspect. Still going to be numbing, but you'll get a tan.
I was so.
Yaman, what's your
goddamn
favorite save story?
I loaded up a game and I thought the save didn't save, but it saved.
It's a close call.
It was a close call, dude. It was a close call.
It was an all
Saved my sanity.
Matter.
Thank you for your email, Regina. You're great. This one is like in 2 parts. This one is from someone named Skit. That's the Google name. I don't know if that's correct. Oh wait, no. They say, "Hey guys, my name is Paisley."
That's just like a Borderlands character.
They call me Skits. It's short for schizophrenic.
Was listening to the podcast, the rice purity test, and I was wondering what the name of the test was that Patrick was taking and where I can find it. I think you ended up
one?
taking a different test.
What was it? What was
it was the same thing we did the rice purity test, but you went on and moved to a different test.
What was the name? Oh yeah, I don't remember. It was like I literally typed in who should I date test, and then it got that, and then
oh yeah,
I gave up on it because I had to choose between who I'm attracted to, male or female. And I was just like, that's okay, and then I went back and then found something else.
And that makes sense because she also follows up and says that really enjoyed your content. And recently, when listening to one of your podcasts, I heard you talking about the fact that you're bisexual. Never knew about that, and never knew that about you. And I think it's really cool. I am
Excuse
too, but
you,
I'm pretty
I'm
sure
frying pansexual.
I am too, but I'm pretty sure my mom would disown me if she ever found out. And listening to you guys talk honestly about it got me through some hard times. Even if you guys are a bunch of jackasses.
Yes.
I love how everybody they'll be like really wholesome, but they'll feel the need to seal the deal
insult
with an
us. Yeah.
Take us down a peg.
Obviously, I know. Remember that person last week made fun of Yaman's name? That was not cool.
Yeah, that was a really stick it to him burn.
Yeah.
And they called you annoying. And then they said that I have what did they say about
you
me?
said you look like a chicken. You have
I don't know why it's funnier when you said it. They said you look like a chicken.
Get fucked, dude. Get fucked.
Everybody said I look like Chicken Little for the longest time. Because I have poofy hair and glasses.
Obviously,
I look like Chicken Little. He's a coward, and I'm not a coward.
Thank you for your email, Paisley. Appreciate it as always. We did get an apology from that girl we just mentioned who roasted us. Maggie. She says, "I'm not racist. I couldn't think of anything else to roast for Yaman." Exclamation points, all caps. For whatever reason, I didn't think about race. I'm so sorry. Also, Patrick, you don't look like a chicken. And Pena, you're great and not annoying. And sometimes I forget y'all actually
down,
sneeze.
you
Yeah,
pussy.
no,
What are you talking about? You should have doubled down.
Double down.
You didn't give a shit, by the
Yeah.
way. I said you it was racist because I guess it's kind of racist to say that your name is strange because it's not. I don't know. I definitely don't really think you're
race had
racist.
nothing to do with it, you weird named buttface.
You should have
That's
doubled
what
down and
you
made it
should've
racist.
said. Okay, let's not go too far. But
Yeah. There are no slurs in this email. You should have doubled down.
I like how it was the shortest email ever. It was just like, Pena, you're annoying. Patrick, you look like a chicken. Yaman, your name is weird. Lol. And then it was like,
That's it.
Thank you for your email, Maggie. You're great. Don't worry about it.
don't worry about it at all. Also, step up the fucking insults.
Hi, this is from Thomas. Hi, I wanted to ask what your opinion is on the new video game releases. Wants to ask about how when new video games come out, people go from being really excited to everyone just wanting a game to fail. Do you think it's because everyone expects too much now, and that's why every game disappoints? Or do you think it's the publisher's fault for just trying to push out games before they're ready? So he just mentions Anthem specifically, but
So, in my software engineering class, we talked about the disconnect when you're creating a piece of software. There's a disconnect between what?
Coke, please.
Oh,
Thank you.
Oh, you want to?
there's a
signal like a
disconnect.
fucking child.
There's a disconnect between what the customer wants, the customer not being the player, the customer being like the publisher that's paying for the game, what the developers are doing, what the business team and the marketing team are understanding. So the business team and the marketing team, they're good at what they do. So they'll make these badass trailers and these incredible cinematics and promise all these great things because that's what they think the developers are going to do. Or maybe that is what the developers promised to do. And then when the game releases, there was a clear disconnect between what the marketing team understood and the development team said and delivered.
Yeah.
I feel like that contributes.
I also just think there's big publishers like EA and Activision are putting all of their eggs into way too few baskets because Anthem, they're like, okay, this is the next big thing. Like, we're going to monetize the hell out of it and it's going to make us $1 billion. And if it doesn't, we're just going to give up immediately and move on to the next thing and maybe even shut down the studio. That hasn't happened yet, but it's happened a million times in the past with Visceral
repeatedly.
Studios, who made Dead Space, with Pandemic, who made the original Star Wars Battlefront. Star Wars 13. Well, that was a separate LucasArts thing that got canceled when Disney bought
LucasArts
Lucasfilm.
got canceled.
Yeah. But But yeah, I think for some reason, big publishers are set on this idea of we need to spend all this money on like one or two games, and if they don't meet expectations, then like the whole thing is off, basically.
Of things they've eaten and then shat out.
Of studios that EA has killed.
Yeah, like
so many.
Fuck ton.
Bullfrog, Westwood, Origins, New Fucks,
New
Pandemics,
FX,
Playfish, EA Black Box.
View 5 plus more.
No, sorry, EA Blackhawks.
Good one.
So I just think they need
to
to be making more cheaper games somehow. Apex Legends is the perfect example of this, where it's a very simple concept that is infinitely replayable, and then you can just like keep supporting. You know, it's a
God,
great
that game's so popular.
It's a great lean experience. There's like not a lot of bullshit, easy to understand. It's simple. Like Apex Legends coming out also like really like kind of I think took the wins out of Anthem's sales, because Apex Legends was this great release and a great example of what to do, and then Anthem was an example of what not to do.
It says a lot when you have a game that's so popular, people go back and play a game that is very different, but because it came from you, they're playing it again. And that's exactly what happened with Titanfall 2. It's craziness. But in terms of what they talked about in the email, where it was like people get hyped, people pretend that, I mean, now decide that, oh man, I hope this game's going to fail, or whatever you call it. I think that people look at something like I did when I saw Anthem, it's like, that looks fucking awesome. I'm thinking Iron Man, I'm thinking a little bit Destiny. That would be awesome, a looter shooter, but sort of like Iron Man. And then I remember the studio, I remember just like my series of being disappointed by other kinds of games, and I go like, all right, well, I'm just going to decide to hate this, because then when it comes out and it sucks, I won't be disappointed. Sort of like the pessimistic thing. Yeah. I know a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
Who they'll watch one like video essay about, you know, the dominoes that are going to fall, and the thing that's going to be released is not what's promised, and there's all of these evidence things that they've found, and they'll be like, oh, cool. Well, I feel bad for even liking it from the start. I'm a bastard, and I'm going to yell at people who enjoy the game.
That makes sense though. It's like a defense mechanism. You don't want to get your hopes up. Is basically
you want to be. You want to sound smart. You want to sound like you knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what? It would have been shitty, but like they would have made more money if they didn't put out the beta.
I think so too.
I think they would have. I think
more
because I knew the game was bad because of the beta.
Exactly. I was using the beta. Like I was planning on buying it. And then I played the beta and decided that I wasn't going to.
Did you play with Kevin?
I did play. I played it by myself. I played it with Kevin, and I think I played a mission with Alex.
Yeah, we definitely played together.
I played a mission with Alex, and it made me not want to.
Yeah, like just playing the game made it feel like this game
made me hate the game.
yeah, exactly. Thomas also attached photos of his dog to this email. They're very cute. So good dog. Her name is Bella, and she thinks everyone on TV is real.
I bet it's ugly.
I just sent you the pictures.
I don't want to see it. I've already made my decision. I'm being the contrarian, so then if the game comes out, I won't be disappointed.
Fuck you.
Dude, before we move on, Apex didn't have any kind of marketing at all.
Not really.
It was literally
it did because they had marketing. There were YouTube ads as soon as it came out, and then they paid.
I think what he means is there was not substantial marketing.
Beforehand, there was no hype built up. It was
a shadow drop.
It was like a day or two before it came out. It was like, whoa, leaks. EA's making a
yeah, like literally the Friday before.
Yeah, it was. Was it a week before?
It was the Friday before. Like, yeah. There's a Titanfall Battle Royale game coming out on Monday.
I think you mentioned that, and then it wiped from my mind, and then it was like the day after it came out, I was like, oh, that came out? Let me play that. It was awesome.
It went for, exactly. There was no build up to the hype. It was just like,
here's the game.
Take this
Tell
game.
Us what you think.
Enjoy it. If you like it, great.
And I don't want to be one of those people who's just like, I know people market this all the time on Reddit, it's just like Hail Corporate or whatever, but I've never had the feeling that I do with Respawn as a company, where it's just like I feel like they might give a shit.
That's honestly,
I got that feeling with Titanfall and Titanfall 2, and now with Respawn, it feels like they're responsive and they care.
Honestly, I had that feeling with Bethesda. I really did. I really did feel like they
pulled
cared.
The rug out from under you.
Completely. Oh man. The biggest switch up, but like I really felt like they of all people.
Now you mentioned how much disappointment you have for Bethesda
because they were like they are up there with.
They were the standard.
They were up there with Rockstar for me.
Yes, they were.
In how they deliver like high quality
They were like Gearbox, Rockstar.
Innovative games. And this, oh man.
Dude, I've been seeing recently ads for, I know you probably have ad block and stuff, but for this I can't get ad block on my Xbox. Right. So I'll see an ad for, is like most highly rated game ever on all consoles. And it's like Red Dead Redemption 2. And I just get this like trigger in my head. It's just like, ugh. I'm immediately trudging through mud in my brain because that's exactly what that game's experience was later in the game.
Yeah.
And it's just like, people are not being honest about that game.
It's
a triumph of engineering.
It's more like they have to give a response immediately, and even my immediate response was like, wow, it's so realistic, and the guns feel great, and there's so much to explore.
Then 5 hours in.
And then 5 hours in, but you can't play for 5 hours when you gotta have the article.
And you can't.
By noon. As a reviewer.
I mean, no,
reviewers get games early. Like I will take the contrarian point of view because I am obviously like in the media industry, quote unquote. But for the most part, people do their due diligence and play the games through, and actually put effort into these things. Like review copies get sent out early to give reviewers time, and if they're not, like sometimes games won't get early review copies, and then reviews will just have to come out later. But for the most part, barring a few like scandals here and there that people love to like use to dunk on particular outlets,
and the
reviews are legit.
The reviews weren't from people who had just received the game. They were from like they were names I recognize, like IGN, GameFAQs, anything like that. It was like big names in the review industry. Not that I know a lot, but and my point was, I played for 5 hours or 7 hours or 10 hours or whatever, and then I'm complaining about the game, and people are telling me it's just like, hey, you got 10 hours out of a game. Isn't that a triumph? It's just like, it would be if they hadn't marketed the game like I was going to be living and breathing it for a year. And it was exactly what they said. It was almost like a virtual reality simulator. It was just like the vidocs that they did for the first like 2 weeks of advertisement when they had that female voice actor.
Yeah.
It was so like surreal. Like they were saying in Red Dead Redemption. It was
also 2. Like GTA.
It was very much
exactly
like
how the GTA trailers were with the lady, the
and
narrator.
It was so shallow at the end.
Exactly.
Red Dead is not shallow. That is a like hugely deep game, but it is so mired in just like molasses. It's so like numbingly slow.
It's like a deep end, but instead of water, it's molasses.
Let's see how long I played it for.
I tried comparing with you. It doesn't.
Then
really
you check how long you played it for.
So I don't think you're.
I played on PS4.
I don't think you played 7 or 10 hours. I really do feel like you played more than that.
I might have, yeah. I literally every opportunity I had to not do the story, I would do it, and then it would be like, "Hey, you gotta finish it."
You got nothing
story
else
with
now,
Dutch.
yeah.
And it was just like, I don't want to finish the story with Dutch.
I played and beat Spider-Man in the time that I started and finished Red Dead.
Isn't it such a breeze? Spider-Man was what a dream that
it literally like night and day. Like when I popped in Spider-Man, I was like, I'll just play like the first level and then get back to Red Dead. Spider-Man is just so fun. It felt so fluid. It just felt good to be in that world. And then when I was playing Red Dead, I was like, I'm moving at like half a mile per hour. And
you have to press a button to inhale. It's just like
exactly.
It's still the most fun I have in that game is when it's just like a torture buddy simulator. It was just like a manipulate like characters game where you just like, I'm gonna ride into town and then rope somebody, throw them on the back of my horse, walk them out into the marsh, and then kick them into the swamp and watch alligators eat them. It's just like, I can do that. I have the power. It's just like simulating life, like things I won't do in real life, but I can do in this game.
See, I really liked... The reason I ended up playing Red Dead to the end is because I did like the story. The whole like island chapter should have been fucking deleted because that whole thing was useless and a waste of time.
It was so ridiculous.
So fucking slow. But by the end, I was like, okay, this is great. And then the ending was great. And then there's a fucking epilogue that's like another like 10, 15 hours where I don't know if you guys care about spoiling this.
I don't give a shit.
I don't care. I've decided even I don't care.
Where you play as John Marston.
Yeah.
For the remaining, like, the last 15 hours of the game.
When you're in the open world, yeah.
It basically goes right up to the beginning of Red Dead Redemption 1.
It's pretty great.
I thought that was cool. It was a pretty cool connection.
It didn't make a lot of sense to me, though, when people describe that to me. Does John age in the epilogue? Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Because Marston is a lot older in 1.
No.
He's a little handsome man in the first.
There's a time skip. There's a time skip from the end of the game to the start of the epilogue, and then there's like another small time skip in the epilogue.
Red Dead Redemption 1 was so fun. Going back to play it the second time in my life. The first time I was younger and I didn't really get it.
Right.
And then the second time, doing it all the way through, I expected like a thrill-a-minute ride. And there is so much cows in that game. Yeah. I don't want to do that. Just like the activity of cows. Like herding, and it's just like the shit that I hate. Trailing missions, people getting into wagons and starting to talk about nothing.
One of the first things you do when you go to
Sadie Bell?
Sadie. You race her on your racehorse. I remember because I was a
Sadie
kid.
was one of my favorite fucking characters, and they totally sideline her so many times.
She's a great character. I hated that race. Just because, I was a kid, I'd start the game over and over again. I didn't like the race, and I knew that it was the first thing. It was such a long race.
Because they imply that everything's going to affect something. Yeah. And I wanted to win, but it's such an effort to win, and you have to peter the horse so you won't kill it, and it's just like...
Kind of...
That game is still playable to this day without any updates.
Oh yeah. Speaking on the pace of, like, you were talking about how Spider-Man is so, like, different than Red Dead Redemption. In my head, like, it's like Call of Duty and Rainbow, pacing-wise. Because in Rainbow, the games are so long, the rounds are long, it's a lot slower, a lot more methodical. Whereas in Call of Duty, you jump in, you play a game 10 minutes, kill things, whatever, you can quit whenever you want. And then you can play one game, you can play 2, 3, whatever you want. It's so much more, like, kind of like Spider-Man. You jump in, you can either play half the campaign, or you can do
Call of
one
Duty
side
is like
mission.
French fries, and Rainbow is like a steak.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good. Yeah.
Or maybe depending on how much you hate Call of Duty's potato chips.
I remember when you were talking
chips
to me.
Bad potato chips.
When
sweet potatoes.
When you first got back from London, I don't remember which order it was, but you got Red Dead. You played that.
I bought Red Dead first.
Yeah, and then you started playing Spider-Man. And I remember thinking in my head, like, comparatively, if you got halfway or like a quarter of the way through Red Dead and then you lost all your progress, you would probably stop playing the game for like a month.
Absolutely.
But if you got a quarter of the way through Spider-Man and you lost all your progress,
yes, I get to play it again.
you might be, that fucking sucks, but let me continue playing Spider-Man because I love this game. You would never do that with Red Dead. It's just like let me trudge through the mud because it's such a chore. I hate that shit.
Yeah, the playing those two games together specifically at the same time was such an interesting experience.
Contrast.
Yes,
because it really made me. Those are just whole two different worlds of like video game thought. Like Red Dead is like the video games are art, and we're gonna try and make this as like realistic and like as incredible as possible. And, like, that's admirable in like one way, but it really was like not fun to actually play through. Whereas Spider-Man is like all about fun. Like it's all about like you're fucking Spider-Man, and like I fucking love it, and it feels so good. Like I look forward to Spider-Man way more than Red Dead.
God damn it!
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. It's just infuriating to me because it's like at the end of the day, Rockstar. Are you making a game or are you trying to make an art installation? Like, I don't... Like, who works there that enjoys these monotonous, like, small things that make the things so grindy and, like, slow? It's just like, who thought this was cool? Like, I mean...
That's a really good question. I wonder what their motivation was. I wonder if they were, like... If they thought it was adding to the immersion to have to do chores around your base and to like have to do long
and have people say
rides.
To gripe you in the camp for not donating enough, even though you just donated $1,000 and they have donated like a gnat swing.
Yeah, they never fucking do.
It's stupid, and you literally hate 100% of the characters. I feel like, besides John, I hate Dutch. I hated.
There was the black guy. What was the black guy's name?
Lenny.
Lenny was great.
I also hated. Not hated. I really liked the guy. I can't remember the name. David.
Was he the Native American?
He was half Native American, half black.
That one.
Oh,
the tracker. His voice actor was so fucking cool.
I loved his voice.
Yeah.
That was.
He was like, hey,
oh man,
John.
You just reminded me how much I hated the voice actor for John.
I'm
for Arthur. I just hated it.
I got bronchitis.
I didn't like.
I liked Arthur after a while.
I didn't hate the voice, but like. It's so average. Like you have to have like a really good, memorable voice, and when you have him interacting,
but it's not average. It's not average. It's stupid. He sounds stupid. And I think for a game where you're trying to appeal to role-playing, where you can choose to be good or bad, you cannot give someone a character that sounds like a thug in 1920s, like, Louisiana. You can't do that.
You do really feel like you're playing the grunt.
Okay, boss. Let me go take care of that.
It's like, you sound like a boneheaded idiot. Like, I don't want to... I feel motivated to play a bad guy because I think that's what you're more comfortable with.
Yeah, it's... Having him talk to... What was his name? You said the half Native American, half black?
George.
I think that's his name.
I don't remember his name.
Like when they spoke to each other, I was just like, man, I wish George was the main character.
We switch bodies.
I just wish I was controlling George.
That would have been even more interesting because you get to play as someone who, like, when he goes to meet Rains Falls, maybe he can relate to him. Or when Lenny is talking about how, someone tried to, like, threaten to lynch me when I went into town, and then Arthur gets him drunk. It's like, this guy has angles on everything, and he's, like...
way more interesting.
Why not? Why not be him?
Or because like the goddamn SJWs making everything about diversity.
That would have been, like, torn to pieces. Like, a half-black, half-Native American...
Yep.
Like the one character that's in your crew who's like sort of racist, the white dude. That's
the gunslinger
Isaiah.
Or
Hosea is the name.
No, that Jose is the old man.
No, it's not Hosea.
Oh yeah, I like Hosea.
No.
It's the
C word.
It's the douchebag.
The douche.
The douchebag.
You guys know what I'm talking about.
I do. Yeah.
He has like yellow hair.
I think so. Doesn't he? He like.
He's got the two.
He says something racist to Lenny, doesn't he? Like directly?
He says tons of shit to him. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Bill. Well, there's two people actually.
Bill Williamson is like the old like cavalry dude.
Yeah.
Big dude.
No, not him.
And he's the guy who shoots John Marston when he goes to him in the first part of the first game.
Yeah, in the first Red Dead Redemption.
I didn't think about that because I never.
Yeah.
You implore me.
I forget. Oh, Lenny?
You can do it.
No.
Just said it again.
I'm an idiot.
Alex.
Okay, Abigail Roberts.
No.
Arthur Morgan, Bill Williamson, Charles Smith, Dutch Vanderlyn.
No, not Javier either.
Jack Marston.
No.
Davey, Dutch, Charles, Jack, Leopold Strauss.
Sean?
Cleat?
No.
Like a soccer show?
What's his name?
It's literally he's a big character at the end of the game. So.
Micah,
yes.
Micah.
There we go.
Sadie Adler's also a fucking G.
I fucking love her, dude. She's in the epilogue and made me so goddamn
Make your
happy.
night electric.
He just got an ad for Adam and Eve on this. What was it? IGN?
Oh my god.
I don't know what it is.
It was weird.
Pat, what do you do?
GTAbase.com.
What have you been looking up?
Oh, adult sex products.
The biblical story. I'm really
trying to increase my load because I only got this so far.
Is that a vape? What is that?
It's a knife.
Oh, it's a knife. Okay, it looked weird.
Does this look like a vape?
It looked like a vape neck for like a second because you kept moving it. Anyways, that's enough of the Red Dead 2 conversation.
Is it going to be a mystery?
We've been going for like 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we are.
I guess.
Can't talk.
Did you get a vape?
I'm not really a fan. I hate walking behind people and then having their nasty
saliva. I don't.
juice.
I actually, oddly enough, I love that because it's always like vanilla or like.
No, not the like the bubblegum flavored ones, but
okay.
like the ones with nicotine in them. Because it's like I don't want to get fucking secondhand nicotine.
Even the flavored ones have nicotine.
Sometimes.
Yeah. This is gonna be the last one. It's more of like a comment, I guess, than a question. It's from Nina. We got this like 2 weeks ago, but we're really fucking backlogged on emails. Hey dudes, it's me, Nina. I was the one who sent Patrick the DM about all of us hanging out at IKEA. I know that you guys have recently mentioned that you won't read long emails, so you'll probably get a bunch of short ones from me in the future. For now, I want to tell you guys that last night I was watching a Vine compilation of Chaotic Evils having a grand old time. In the compilation, they had Patrick's Vines. The one with the harmonica where he goes, "Kevin, no." Someone commented on it asking who he was.
See, it always bothers me.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
I don't like that one because I should have cut the last clip. Because it goes like, you play this harmonica and you get $1 billion, but 1 billion people will die. And then the guy takes the harmonica and starts playing it. And the guy goes like, "Kevin, no. I shouldn't have had Kevin, no. I should have just been..."
What?
No. Because it would have been funnier because it's like, I'm not even going to say anything to you. Like, blah, 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 like, you know what I mean? And then it would have cut. That would have been funnier.
No,
that's fair.
Some dude I saw
so. I
reposted that on a different Instagram account with that, and it's funnier. It is.
Someone commented on it
asking, I know Kevin.
Asking who Patrick was.
I put a face to it.
You can see him doing it?
I put a face to it.
Yeah.
And a person with the username The Tooth in the Back said that it was Patrick and that they went to high school with him. They said that you guys were acquainted and they didn't know you were internet famous until recently. I, being a general asshole, told them about the podcast, so you might have some people from high school listening to it, so heads up. Anyways, thank you guys for making a great podcast. Keep up the work.
Who is this?
Their username was The Tooth in the Back, which like doesn't mean anything. So who knows what that mysterious person
If anybody
could be.
from high school is listening to this, I hate all of you.
Okay. Cool. Before we end, I want to shout out our cool Patreon lovelies. Brianna, Cassidy, Chelsea, Aaron, Everso Joe, Jesse, Kane, Maldo, Marianne, Monty, Rebecca, Tara, Vanessa, Jessica. You guys are all great. I would give you a friendly hug if I could.
Absolutely, Jessica.
Oh, you got him.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't do that.
If you want to send us an email, that's prududes@gmail.com. Please keep it short because they're really long. Unless you have a scientific
If you don't want us to read it, you can make it long.
Yeah.
Unless you have a scientific report to back up one of our arguments,
then don't send it.
Unless it's backing up Patrick's argument.
Yeah. If it's specifically dunking on Patrick, then you can make it as long as you want.
That's fine.
But otherwise, keep it short.
See, I always get the notifications, and I'm willing to delete it, and then go to the deleted things, and then delete it again. So it'll go away forever.
Well, jeez. All right.
You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter. That's at PrudeDudes. I'm at AlexPanda97. Patrick is at PatrickCharlton5. And Yaman is at Papa Yams.
Why do you say that? Yams.
Papa Yams.
Papa Yams.
If you ever see an abbreviation of my name and it says P-A-T, you go like, pot!
Pates.
Because your name is Yaman. I don't say Yaman, but you
like
pronounce your
when
handle
you take
Papa
off the
Yams.
min off of Yaman, it takes off the silencer. And then you go like, Yam!
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Confusing. So follow us there. If you want to also support us on Patreon, be an incredible person. That's patreon.com/PrudeDudes. Otherwise, follow the show on Spotify, rate the show on iTunes, and send us nice, lovely compliments.
Or don't. It's really hot in here.
It is kind of warm. It's nice outside. Let's go outside.
It's a lot of attention.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.